Chapter 587, he can definitely provide for me after some time. At the restaurant, Si Han, who had failed in getting any help, returned. Yi Wanwan glanced at him suspiciously. Why did he take so long? After Liang Wanjun and Yi Xiaoting had confirmed with Yi Wanwan once again that Si Han was the boyfriend she described before, they calmed down slightly. Thus, Yi Xiaoting considered his words before he turned to Si Han and asked, Mr. Si, may I ask you a few questions? Si Han, yes. Yi Wanwan interrupted uneasily, Daddy, Mommy, you can just ask me if you want to know anything. Wanwan, don't say anything, Yi Xiaoting warned her sternly. Oh, Yi Wanwan could only obey, but her heart was beating non-stop. According to the general routine, her parents would definitely ask about Si Han's parents and questions relating to his job. If he gave technical answers to these questions, everything would still go smoothly, right? As expected, Yi Xiaoting started his interrogation. I wonder what Mr. Si's parents do for a living. Si Han, my father passed away. Yi Xiaoting, then, what about your mother? Si Han, her whereabouts are unknown at this moment. Yi Xiaoting was taken aback. Excuse me? Liang Wanjun probed, what do you mean? Yi Wanwan was speechless and held her head with her hand. I asked you to be honest so they'd like you, but you didn't have to be so brutally honest, right? Si Han replied truthfully, she already left the family by the time I started to form memories. Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun looked at each other, then Liang Wanjun continued asking, then what do you do for a living now? Si Han, stay idle at home. Yi Wanwan's head fell onto the table. This relationship is over. Father is dead, mother is missing and he doesn't have a job. Which parent would entrust their daughter into the hands of this man, huh? As expected, her parents' faces darkened. Yi Xiaoting tried his best to keep his composure and continued, then how did you meet our Wanwan? Captured me directly. Once Si Han answers this question, everything will be blown to pieces. Yi Wanwan quickly answered before Si Han could speak, Daddy, Mommy, let me answer this. My boyfriend's not very good with words. My boyfriend's parents got a divorce when he was really young as they couldn't get along. His mother has been overseas all these years and is no longer in contact with the relatives here, so he's not sure about her whereabouts now. But he heard through his friends that she's doing pretty well, and as for his father, he passed away in a traffic accident. Yi Wanwan managed to change the strife Si Han described into an ordinary scenario with just a few sentences. Hearing what their daughter said, Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun's faces warmed up a little. Although they weren't very satisfied with the other party's family situation, they weren't any better themselves, so they didn't ask for much. Furthermore, things like this weren't up to the younger generation like him to decide. Yi Wanwan was very eloquent. Her eyes didn't even blink as she continued, he's currently idling at home because he was so busy before that he didn't even have any time for me, so he took some time off work to keep me company. He receives quite good treatment at work and holds a position at C Corporation. Yi Xiaoting's face turned much more pleasant. C Corporation isn't bad, Yi Wanwan hurriedly said, yes, yes. He has a very stable job and there's almost no possibility of being dismissed, he'll definitely be able to provide for me. Ha, like who can fire him anyway? Chapter 588, Protect Her for an Eternity. As for how we met, Yi Wanwan took a deep breath and continued explaining, he courted me first and at first, I didn't really like him and we weren't on very good terms. After all, I was still crazy in love with Gu Yuze and was hoping to salvage my relationship with him. I did many silly things and even fell out with you guys and GGE. That was the worst and most painful point in my life, yet he continued to stay by my side and didn't leave me, he protected me, took care of me and tolerated all my beatings and scoldings. Slowly, I was moved by him and finally accepted him. When Si Han heard that, he turned to the glib-tongued Yi Wanwan and his expression was indescribable. Yi Wanwan stared at him. Why are you looking at me? Did I say anything wrong? He works at C Corporation, doesn't he? And he courted me first, didn't he? He courted me till I had no path in heaven and no door in hell. He didn't leave me, right? I used all kinds of methods to shake him off and still failed. As for tolerating my scoldings and beatings, didn't I cause enough trouble in the past? Provoking, scolding, and beating him, I did them all almost every day. Yet, his frozen face remained expressionless. If this isn't called tolerating my scoldings and beatings, what is? If we went along with what he said, we would have GG a long time ago, alright? I see. Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun's faces visibly warmed up a little and they saw Si Han in a more positive light. Although his father was no longer around, his mother was overseas, but the most important thing was that he treated their daughter well and had a stable job. So, Daddy and Mommy, don't have any prejudice against him just because of his looks. He definitely wouldn't do anything that would let me down. Also, your daughter's looks aren't very safe either, okay? So we're equals, right? Yi Wanwan said. Liang Wanjun was speechless. She looked at Si Han and said, you should know a little about Wanwan's past, okay? This child, she can't take much hardship, so we're especially worried, afraid she'll be hurt again. We hope she can find a proper and nice guy, so we hope you didn't mind our questions just now. Si Han replied, not at all. Liang Wanjun knew he wasn't good with words, but his eyes were bright and clear. He didn't seem like a playboy and was even better than those sweet talkers. Her approval for him increased. Yi Xiaoting warned in a deep voice, relationships aren't a game. Although nobody knows what will happen in the future, I still hope the two of you will be serious about one another, look out for each other and be together happily. Si Han took a look at the girl next to him. The depth of his eyes was akin to a calm sea and he spoke softly, I'll protect her for an eternity. Yi Wanwan met his deep gaze and was taken aback. She hadn't expected that with his character, he could say something like this. Finally, after Yi Wanwan and Si Han were done sitting with her parents, the atmosphere was considerably harmonious, and since this was their first time meeting, her parents didn't make things too difficult for them by digging too deep, so they managed to get through it. When they returned to Jean Garden, Yi Wanwan still had fears remaining from the trauma. Yi Wanwan climbed up the stairs while she turned her head and complained to Si Han. Si Han continued following behind her in silence. He hadn't said a word throughout the entire journey and she didn't know what was on his mind. Who would answer their in-laws questions like that? Those who don't know might think you don't love me at all and want to break up with me. Forget it. Luckily, my EQ's high enough, so even though you have a deficit, I can make up for it. Yi Wanwan spoke with her head turned. In the end, she accidentally took a step in the air and her whole body fell backward. Thankfully, Si Han was right behind her and firmly caught her in his embrace. I didn't stand properly. Yi Wanwan stuck her tongue out and was about to speak, but in the next second, a shadow covered her as Si Han leaned down and kissed her on the lips all of a sudden. Chapter 589, Kissed Me all of a sudden his slightly chilly lips came closer slowly and sucked on her lips gently. His arm around her waist tightened gradually and his kisses became more urgent. He used his jaw to open her mouth and absorbed every inch of sweetness from her. Compared to his instinctive craziness and violence in the past, he was becoming more skilled at kissing. His thin and cool lips, his face that was close to perfection and his passionate breathing simply captivated her. In a split second, the atmosphere around her was enshrouded by Si Han's aura. She was encapsulated in this place like there was only the two of them left in this world. An indefinite amount of time passed before this kiss finally ended. Si Han's fingers brushed against her hair lightly. His eyes were filled with emotions she couldn't read. Yi Wanwan stared at the man before her and was in a slight daze. What's wrong? Why did he kiss me all of a sudden? He didn't even warn me first. Then, what about you? Si Han looked at her and suddenly said these 4 words. Yi Wanwan was already muddled and what he said made her even more confused. What about me? Si Han locked his eyes onto her. Do you like me? When Yi Wanwan heard that question, she was taken aback. Actually, she was so nervous about him meeting her parents at first only because she was afraid that if things went badly, her parents would be strongly against them being together and he might hurt them when his emotions were out of control. After all, his temperament was like that in her previous life, so it could really happen. But right now, she unwittingly believed that this person before her would never hurt her and the people around her. However, she was still trying to be tactful and make her parents accept him. Now, about her feelings towards Si-han. Yu Wanwan was lost in thought when Si-han suddenly strode forward. Follow me. Ah. Where are we going? Yu Wanwan followed him in a daze. After some time, Si-han brought her to the attic on the top floor. Seeing Si-han bringing her up there, she was stunned. Isn't this the restricted area in Jean Garden? I wasn't even allowed to step into this place in my previous life. Why is Si-han bringing me here? Creak, the door of the attic was pushed open. Yu Wanwan stood at the door and scanned the place out of curiosity. There were some old pieces of furniture, 2 full rows of bookshelves and a sandalwood desk in the middle of the attic. Si-han walked over to the desk, sat down and opened one of the drawers. He took out a jade pendant from the drawer. Strictly speaking, it was half a jade pendant. Si-han held the jade pendant with his slender fingers and brought it to her. Yu Wanwan took it suspiciously and didn't know what Si-han was doing. She didn't understand why Si-han was giving her this pendant. What's this? In the dim light, Si-han's clear voice resounded in the somewhat empty attic. This half-jade pendant can mobilize my people. It can be used when you're in danger. However, it only takes orders from me. This half-jade pendant can only be used by you 3 times, so don't use it unless it's urgent. When Yu Wanwan heard that, she looked at the piece of unsophisticated and simple green jade with a complex gaze. Si-han really has some hidden forces and these people are only loyal towards him. Sui probably doesn't even know of their existence, but right now, Si-han actually revealed this to me and gave me the authority to mobilize them. Chapter 590, I only want you. Without waiting for Yu Wanwan to finish thinking, Si-han took out a wooden box. After he opened the box, there was a ring sitting there. The ring was gray and didn't look special at all. It looked very old and had some engraving which she didn't understand. Si-han rubbed the ring gently and seemed to be thinking about something. He didn't speak for a long time. Yu Wanwan stood in front of the desk. She didn't dare to make a sound and interrupt him. She also didn't know what he planned to do. After all, he didn't take all these things out in her previous life. In her previous life, there was one time when Si-han seemed to have the intention of bringing her up to the attic, but Shin Mengqi got a hold of some information that the attic was filled with awful torture instruments and said it was where Si-han tortured people. So Yu Wanwan was especially afraid of the attic and never dared to go up. That time when Si-han wanted to bring her up there, the outcome was expected. She obviously didn't go and even caused a big ruckus. She thought Si-han wanted to torture her. However, she didn't expect that there wouldn't be any scary items in the attic at all. Did Si-han plan on giving me something in my previous life when he wanted to bring me up here? Si-han lifted his head and looked at her with eyes that were darker than the night. The power behind this ring is one you're absolutely unable to control for now. Bear in mind that you can only take over this ring once you have enough strength. Until then, I'll do my best to teach you some things. Si-han held her hand and placed the ring in her palm. In her previous life, Si-han hadn't been like this at all, speaking so much in one breath. But Yu Wanwan felt like something wasn't right the more she listened to him. It sounded like he was briefing her for his death. Was he giving her these things because he could die any time? Yu Wanwan stared at the half-piece of jade and ring in her palm and felt as if her palm was scalding. Her heart tightened uncontrollably as well. Take care of them, Si-han warned her. His face was calm, like he hadn't said anything different from what he usually said. Yu Wanwan closed her palm, then slowly opened it. Following that, she looked straight into Si-han's eyes coldly and said, I don't want them. Seeing that Yu Wanwan rejected the items, Si-han furrowed his brows and his expression turned icy. Yu Wanwan placed the jade pendant and ring back on the desk in front of Si-han and spoke without any expression, Please take them back, I don't need these things. I don't want to accept his things. Si-han's face darkened instantly and his eyes turned dull. Outside the window, after the moonlight hid behind the thick clouds, the temperature slowly became frosty. Si-han stood there with his back stiffened. He looked at the lonely jade pendant and ring lying on the table after being rejected by Yuan-wan. At this moment, Yuan-wan placed both her palms on the desk and kissed his tightly shut thin lips. I don't need these things. I only want you. The second she landed on his lips, Si-han's eyes suddenly constricted and there was a burst of waves in his eyes. His face was filled with astonishment, like he hadn't expected Yuan-wan to react like that. Yuan-wan stared at him in a serious manner and said clearly, I only need you. You have to live on. Little drama, Yuan-wan, what are all these? Si-han, these are the territories the king have conquered for you. Yuan-wan, oh, take them back. I don't want territories, I only want you, beauty. Chapter 591, a little empty and lonely. Si-han looked as if he never expected to hear an answer like that. That icy cold face of his was filled with surprise and he was in a daze. At this current point in time, Si-han's gaze made her inexplicably feel a familiar sense of traveling through time and her chest started palpitating uncontrollably. Before her brain could react, the words already left her mouth, I promised to make you well, so I'll definitely do it. Didn't you say that you would protect me for eternity? I want you to protect me personally, not by using these cold, dead things. As Yuan-wan spoke, her eyes slowly shifted from hesitation to resolve. She admitted that the shadow in her previous life wasn't easy to get rid of, but since she was reborn, she'd try to abandon everything from the past and look at all the people around her with a new light. Otherwise, what's the point of being reborn? I only want you, I only need you, so you have to live on. The girl's words made Si-han return to earth from the inferno in hell. It was as if his icy heart was soaking in a warm tide. Okay. He looked at her dazzling eyes that were like stars and he returned to a distant past through her eyes. The depths of his eyes had surging waves like the deep sea. Late at night, the two of them nestled up against each other and fell asleep. In the quiet room, Yuan-wan's work phone suddenly rang urgently. Afraid she would wake Si-han up, Yuan-wan frowned as she looked at the caller ID, then she hurriedly covered the receiver and picked up the call. She coughed lightly and deepened her voice, hello? Gong-soo. Why's Gong-soo calling me in the middle of the night? Did something happen? Why are you calling me at this hour? What happened? Yuan-wan asked anxiously. The youth's languid voice came through the phone, Yi-ji, I'm so bored. Yuan-wan was silent for a couple seconds. Just because of this? He's calling me in the middle of the night because of this? Yi-ji, what's up with you? Are you in a bad mood? Being frightened by ringing in the middle of the night, how could my mood be any better? Yi-ji, were you doing that with your girlfriend? Did I interrupt you? Gong-soo asked carefully. Yuan-wan's mouth twitched a little and she thought she might as well just admit it, you know it, yet you're still wasting my time? Fine, Gong-soo whined. But I'm really bored. Yi-ji, when will you arrange some job assignments for me? I feel a little empty and lonely. Yuan-wan held her forehead. Are you done with the acting course I arranged for you? Not yet. Gong-soo felt guilty then spoke in a very concerned manner, Yi-ji, you can't do your job this way. Just calculate how much losses you've taken for not arranging any work assignments for me lately. My heart is already aching for you, you know. Thanks. Yuan-wan's lips twitched. If there's nothing else, we'll talk again tomorrow. Alright, you may continue, Yi-ji. I won't disturb you anymore, you promised you'll come to my gathering, so don't forget about it, yeah? Gong-soo spoke in a very obedient manner. Also invite Senior Luo-chan over, it's good for him to meet more people. He's too stiff. Luo-chan's too stiff but Gong-soo's too wild. Wouldn't it be great if these two could find some balance in the middle? Yuan-wan sighed. Alright, got it. Yuan-wan was about to hang up when Gong-soo started speaking hesitantly, Yi-ji, hold on. Do you want to bring your girlfriend along too? Yuan-wan, It's okay, Gong-su, why not? Yi Wan, she probably doesn't have time for it. Scared that all of you will be terrified. Chapter 592, So what if I'm coming out of the closet? Oh, alright then. Gong-su said in an exceptionally disappointed tone. But I'm really curious. Other than little Candied Plum, the person he wanted to meet most was probably this legendary girlfriend of Yi Ji's who was rumored to be exceptionally beautiful. I also wonder when Yi Ji will break the stereotype he has of me and introduce me to little Candied Plum. Speaking of which, it was too weird, he used all the connections he had and even followed Yi Bai's lead to find little Candied Plum, but he still couldn't find her at all. Right now, the only lead he had was Yi Bai. He finally managed to find his true love, yet heaven had to torture him like this. Why must his love life be so rough? I'll hang up then. Rest early, staying up late is bad for your skin. Yi Wan hung up and had just placed her phone down when she felt an arm tightening around her waist and a warm breath coming closer. Yi Wan turned to the man next to her. Did I wake you up? Who called? The man was half asleep and his tone was slightly lazy. Gong-su called. He wants to treat me to a meal and I've dragged it on for more than a month. If I continue to reject him, he'll probably explode. This fella is really curious about you and insisted on me bringing my girlfriend along. How can I bring you along, huh? Hearing Yi Wan's rant, Si-Han's face froze and his brows furrowed. He suddenly realized that he dug a large pit for himself before. If Yi Wan continued her male disguise in the entertainment industry, wouldn't he have to be in hiding forever? Si-Han's face changed and Yi Wan could guess what was on his mind, so she spoke after some time. Actually, there's a way we can be together openly. Si-Han looked at her. Yi Wan blinked. Why don't I come out of the closet, huh? Si-Han, Yi Wan thought about it then realized that something didn't seem right. No, wait, if I came out of the closet, it also means that you have to come out of the closet too. Si-Han gave her side eye, an expression that said, you only just realized, huh? A few days later in a certain upscale bar. Almost the entire second level was reserved by Gong-su. Aside from VIP guests, nobody else was allowed to enter at all. There was a big group of good-looking people from showbiz and the DJ put on some explosive tunes, the whole place was pumping. Gong-su crossed his legs, sat on the sofa and sipped his drink. He glanced at the flight of stairs from time to time and when people spoke to him, he would give a perfunctory reply, looking very distracted. More and more people filled the bar, Luo Chen, Han Xianyu, and the others arrived too. Yi Bai wasn't there yet. Gong-su had spammed him with countless messages before finally getting a reply that he was done accompanying his girlfriend and was on his way over. Hi babies, did you guys miss me? Tang Xinghua walked in wearing a tight shirt with a low neckline. Once Gong-su, who had his head buried and was busy texting, saw Tang Xinghua, he was in a rage immediately. Tang Xinghua! You traitor! You still dared to show up here? Huh? What did I do? Tang Xinghua was stunned. Gong-su looked heartbroken and whined, you're still pretending, huh? You were actually nominated as Golden Orchid's Best Supporting Actor. This is ridiculous, ridiculous. Didn't we say that brothers should walk together for life and go through thick and thin together? Gong-su and Tang Xinghua were both very similar, both of them were second-generation rich sons with terrible acting skills. Now that Tang Xinghua received the Best Supporting Actor award, his status suddenly improved and from Gong-su's perspective, he naturally felt betrayed. Chapter 593, Who is this guy? Tang Xinghua felt somewhat guilty. He coughed lightly. You can't blame me for this. It was an accident. An accident. I didn't want this either, alright? Who knew that I would be nominated? Tang Xinghua felt like something wasn't right then he suddenly said, wait, weren't you nominated as the best newcomer? You actually had the nerve to scold me. Gong Su spoke in a righteous manner. How is that the same? I was scolded even when I was nominated. And I even received harsher scoldings. What about you? I don't care. You're a traitor. You went to hone your acting skills behind my back. I see through you. How could you face me or your fans? Face everything we went through together, huh? Gong Su kept berating him without pausing when all of a sudden, the people around him turned to the stairs and let out a light cough. Luo Chen stood up as well. Yi Ji, seeing the familiar figure that resembled a cool breeze clearing up the clouds, Gong Su was scared out of his wits. He quickly pulled Tang Xinghua's arm. Xinghua. My good brother. Congratulations on being nominated for Golden Orchid's Best Supporting Actor. Your acting skills have improved tremendously. I'm so proud of you. You're the role model I'll be working towards. I must learn from you and improve my skills. I'll work hard to become a great actor just like you. Yi Ji. Yi Ji. You're here. Gong Su acted like he just noticed Yi Wanwan. He let go of Tang Xinghua's arm, then pushed Luo Chen away as he jogged over and pulled her to the seat right next to him. Following that, he brought a fruit plate in front of Han Xianyu over to Yi Wanwan. Yi Ji, take a seat. Yi Ji, have some fruit. Tang Xinghua, who witnessed how he changed in less time required for flipping a page, this guy. Improve your skills, my ass. I see that your acting skills are pretty good here. Changing your tone so quickly. He didn't think much of it when Gong Su had a change in manager, it wasn't the first time anyway. But he truly didn't expect that this day would come when Gong Su would be so obedient and controlled by this guy. This manager, who seemed quite young and better looking than most artists, was pretty interesting. After seeing the way Gong Su treated Yi Wanwan, many artists at the party had the same thought running in their minds and were so shocked that their jaws nearly dropped. Is this obedient and sensible man really the little tyrant, Gong Su? Who is this guy? Someone asked Han Xianyu. Han Xianyu took a glance in Yi Wanwan's direction, then grinned. Gong Su's manager. Oh, so he's Gong Su's new manager. He actually managed to control and tame Gong Su. He's amazing, huh? Yi Wanwan already overheard Gong Su scolding Tang Xinghua, so when she saw Gong Su twisting the facts without even flinching, she was speechless but didn't expose him anyway. At this moment, Gong Su was very busy with Yi Wanwan, acting extremely polite and attentive. Yi Ji, do you drink? White or red? I brought a bottle of red wine from home, it's a 1982 Royal Salute. Yi Wanwan replied, no thank you, I don't drink. Just get me a cup of soda. Then Yi Ji, I'll ask a chick over to accompany you, alright? What type do you like? Gong Su asked. Gong Su's mentality was that there was no such thing as having a girlfriend and not being allowed to fool around outside at the same time. If I really had a younger sister, I definitely wouldn't introduce her to a man like that, alright? Yi Wanwan's face darkened. No need. Chapter 594, Why must there always be someone competing for my manager's attention? Gong Su finally stopped forcing Yi Wanwan and started to take credit. Yi Ji, I've been practicing my acting skills with my teacher obediently and haven't missed a single class. Oh. Tang Xinghua's expression, what? You just yelled at me, but in the end, you're the one secretly taking lessons. Do you have no sense of shame at all? Tang Xinghua couldn't listen to this any longer. Damn it. Gong Su, are you shameless? Who was the one who said? Before he could finish, Gong Su hooked his arm around Tang Xinghua's neck and dragged him aside. Shut up. If you sell me out, I'm done with you. Tang Xinghua pushed Gong Su away and straightened his clothes. What's up with you? Why are you so respectful towards that guy? Gong Su recalled something when peach blossoms appeared in his eyes and he sneered, mind your own business. Just don't ruin things for me. I'm working hard now to be a great actor. Unlike you. Tang Xinghua was completely speechless. Where's your shame? On the other side, Yu Wanwan had just said hello to Han Xianyu and very quickly, someone came forward to strike a conversation. A pure and cute girl walked towards Yu Wanwan. Hello, I'm Lin Cece. Hi, I've heard about you and saw your TV series. The girl's smile was as beautiful as a flower. Are you really a manager? You look so dashing, good-looking enough to be an artist. The girl spoke and sat down naturally next to Yu Wanwan. Not far off, Gong Su saw that his seat was taken by someone and his face turned ugly. Gong Su. Gong Su, what are you looking at? Did you hear what I said? Shut your trap. I'm busy. Gong Su skipped over in Yu Wanwan's direction hurriedly. Cece. Gong Su walked over to Lin Cece with the sweetest smile he could put on his face. I think I just saw your boyfriend leaving with Xiao Qin. What? Lin Cece's face changed. She stood up and walked away instantly. Gong Su managed to get rid of Lin Cece with just a few words, then he sat his butt down firmly next to Yu Wanwan and leaned over to whisper, Yi Ji, don't get too close with this Lin Cece. This woman looks innocent on the surface but has a very messy life and is very wild. The moment Gong Su leaned over to Yu Wanwan, he smelled an especially nice fragrance. Yi Ji puts on perfume. Seeing the way Gong Su was ratting on somebody, Yu Wanwan was speechless. Even you have the guts to talk bad about someone else, huh? Who gave you this courage? When Gong Su saw that Yu Wanwan didn't seem to believe him, he quickly stretched across to Han Xianyu and urged him, ask Xianyu Ji if you don't believe me. I'm telling the truth. Yuji, am I right? Han Xianyu coughed lightly. Well, I'm not too sure myself. Yu Wanwan thought to herself. This child probably has some IQ problems. He wanted to rat on someone, but he didn't realize he had thrown himself into the pit as well. Han Xianyu had such a clean lifestyle, so obviously, he wouldn't know who in the industry was a mess. So it went without saying how Gong Su was so clear on that. Okay, just stop there. You don't have to worry about other people's lives. I'm going to talk to Luo Chen. Ah. Why? I haven't even talked that much with you, Gong Su complained. Shouldn't have invited that guy. Annoying, why must there always be someone competing for my manager's attention? Chapter 595, The Whereabouts of Big Missy. Yu Wanwan walked over to Luo Chen and chatted with him about the filming process of Terrifying Dragon 2 so far, and also gave him the magazine cover photo shoot assignment she recently accepted for him. In the end, she had just spoken a few words with him when a couple young girls came over excitedly. Yu Wanwan wondered when she became so famous when she heard a doll-faced girl say, So you're Yi Bai. Could you please read my fortune for me? What? Yu Wanwan was stunned for a moment. Xinjia said you're very good at reading people's fortunes and you're extremely accurate, the girls exclaimed excitedly. Yu Wanwan was somewhat speechless all of a sudden. She didn't expect that Xiao Ke Xian would actually spread her title of Mr. Fortune Teller around. Well, Xinjia was joking. How could I possibly know how to read people's fortunes? Yu Wanwan said helplessly. She hadn't paid any attention to any of these girls here, so how would she know their future? Yi Ji, are you unwilling to read our fortunes because you don't think we're good? Xinjia said you're amazing and you even managed to predict that she would win the Golden Orchid Award. Exactly. We can afford your fees. These girls didn't believe her at all. Being harassed by these girls, Yu Wanwan was left with no choice, and finally, she said, I'm a materialist and don't believe in these things at all. How could things like Taoist divination still exist in this day and age? A youth dressed as a Taoist devotee suddenly appeared in her head. Speaking of a Taoist devotee, she really had seen a living one in the group of 5 she ran into at the food stall that day. One of them sold animal bones at a stall, another one liked putting on an icy cold face, one was very muscular, one was a feminine and bewitching man, and there was one, who was the most exotic, dressed as a Taoist devotee. That time, those people didn't have enough money to pay for their meal, so she paid for them since she benefited from nameless Nya. In the end, that devotee read her fortune for free and told her very firmly that she had luck with romance. Finally, Yuanwan racked her brains and finally managed to convince the girls that she didn't really know how to read fortunes. At the same time, late at night, in a certain martial arts aristocratic family, a bewitching man sat on the head seat with a faint smile on his mouth. On both sides of the head seat were a couple pale-looking elders standing there. Branch of Nya clan, Tsk Tisk. After a long while, the bewitching man chuckled. This martial arts aristocratic family was the European headquarters the Nya clan built in Z country. They were very powerful in Z country and were also renowned, but today, they met an unexpected guest. The head elder was dressed in white and his hair was a little grizzled. Although he was quite old, his eyes were still very spirited. Since the headquarters is in Europe, as a branch of Nya clan, you guys were able to do as you liked and established yourself, changing the surname Nya and calling yourself the Zhou family. The guts you guys have are really commendable. The bewitching man's gaze was as sharp as a dagger as he looked at the white-shirted elder. Who exactly are you and what do you want? The elder in a white shirt furrowed his brows deeply. This extremely bewitching youth barged into the mansion out of nowhere and killed countless talented members of the clan with just a few moves. His strength was frightening. Ma, I'm not here for much today. I just need you guys to tell me the whereabouts of Miss Worryless Nye. The man laughed. Hearing that, all the elders were shocked. Worryless Nye was the big missy of Nye clan's European headquarters. It was said that she had been missing for 4 years and the last time she appeared was rumored to be somewhere near country Z. Chapter 596. Where is my younger sister? Bro, we have no idea where Worryless Nye is and have never seen Nye clan's Worryless Nye before. We don't even have any clue what she looks like. I guess you're at a wrong place, said the elder in white. At that moment, the bewitching man's smile froze on his face and his expression darkened. So you guys aren't telling, huh? We really haven't seen Worryless Nye before, the elder in white exclaimed. Since this is the case, there's no need to keep all of you traitors here anymore. The bewitching man stood up slowly, his eyes were filled with fury. HNG. The elder in white bellowed in anger. How is it your business whether or not we're traitors of the Nya clan? You're on your own here, what do you think you can do, huh? The moment he said that a couple well-trained powerful men stepped forward suddenly and surrounded the bewitching man. I don't care where you came from. I will make sure you won't return today and die right here. The elder's eyes turned frosty. But when he said that, a cold, flashing dagger slipped out of the sleeves of the bewitching man. PFFF. Almost in an instant, the powerful men surrounding him immediately retreated and their necks were cut open by the sharp dagger. Fresh red blood sprayed all over, staining the floor with a devilish color. What? The elder in white was in shock. While he was speaking, the bewitching man was already right in front of him and had an arm on his shoulder. Who the hell are you? The elder in white was furious. You can call me Spray of Flowers, the bewitching man chuckled. Spray of Flowers, the elder's eyes instantly constricted as he stared at the bewitching man before him in disbelief. You are Europe. Spray of Flowers. He was called the Spray of Flowers because just like the Rose of Death, this Spray of Flowers was, just as terrifying. Similar to the Rose of Death, the Spray of Flowers had disappeared for a long time. There were many rumors saying that the Spray of Flowers was already dead. Why would such a person appear in country Z all of a sudden, and see them? Since you don't know the whereabouts of Worryless Nye, you should just disappear once and for all. The Spray of Flowers revealed a menacing grin. The moment he said that there were a couple footsteps and 4 men slowly strode into the hall of the ancient clan. Great Captain, you're here. Seeing nameless Nye, his bloodthirsty and icy gaze disappeared and he became starry-eyed. The Spray of Flowers no longer cared about the elder in white and looked as if he wanted to pounce into the arms of nameless Nye. Get lost, Nameless Nya growled. Hubby, the captain is bullying me. Spray of Flowers looked at the beautiful iceberg man next to Nameless Nya with an aggrieved expression. Hubby, say something, just one word is good enough. Spray of Flowers pouted when he saw that the beautiful iceberg man didn't respond to his request. Go away. The beautiful iceberg man swept his gaze over Spray of Flowers and spoke coldly. Spray of Flowers, at this moment, Nameless Nya looked at the elder in white and said plainly, my younger sister was last seen at the borders of country Z and you traders were the only ones in the entire country who could control my younger sister, so tell me, where is my younger sister? Who are you? The elder in white was frightened as he sized Nameless Nya up. Nameless Nya directly said his own name. What? Nameless Nya, the elder in white gasped and slumped onto the ground like mud with fear and trepidation in his eyes. Chapter 597, I'll read more fortunes, as long as you hand over Worryless Nya. I'll allow you guys to live on this piece of land. Nameless Nya took a step forward and laughed. Sir. I've really never seen Worryless Nya before, and definitely did not imprison her here. The elder in white trembled. Captain, I think this old thing here has no guts to do anything to Worryless Nya anyway. Although they are traitors of the Nya clan, they can't even hide from us, so how could they dare to provoke Worryless? A bewitching youth dressed as a Taoist devotee spoke up. That makes sense. Nameless Nya nodded. Since this is the case, we don't have to keep this traitor then. Finish him. No. The elder in white was extremely frightened as he retreated backward. Pfff. A flashing dagger sliced his throat open in an instant. Seeing that their clan leader was murdered, all the higher-ups in the room were petrified. You guys don't have to be afraid, Nameless Nya said plainly. He's the only traitor of the Nya clan. From today onwards, you guys just need a change of leader and will be allowed to live on. Thank you. The few higher-ups expressed their gratitude. If you guys don't mind, go make some plates of dumplings for us, Nameless Nya said after some thought. Ah, dumplings? The higher-ups looked at each other, perplexed. Captain wants to eat some dumplings, go and get it done now, the brick mover foreigner ordered. Yes, the higher-ups nodded continuously. Aside from dumplings, get us some good wine and dishes, Spray of Flowers added. No problem at all, a couple higher-ups wiped the sweat off their foreheads and quickly retreated. Not long after, the corpses of the elder in white and the strong men were dragged away and the hall was cleaned. They killed our master, are we going to just let them off like that? A certain higher-up gritted his teeth. TSK. Do you have any idea who that Nameless Nya is? Not to mention Nameless Nya, do you know those 4 men under him? Your stupidity could completely wipe out our Zhou family. Another higher-up scoffed. Who on earth are they? Someone asked suspiciously. That higher-up trembled slightly and finally, he shook his head without giving an explanation, then hurriedly got someone to prepare the dumplings. Nameless Nya sat on the main seat and furrowed his brows. He initially thought this Zhou family would know where his younger sister, Worryless Nya, was. But he didn't expect that it would all be a futile effort. Captain, the Zhou family is quite rich, why don't we take about 800,000 or $1 million from them? Spray of Flowers laughed. Captain, this pervert is right. You gave us the rule that we're not allowed to use martial arts to earn money. We don't have any other skills and have no clue when we'll be able to find Worryless Nya, so for now, what are we going to eat, what are we going to drink, huh? The bewitching devotee said. So what you guys mean is that you want me to steal with all of you? Nameless Nya's tone was getting icy. Captain, we were just joking. It's beneath us to do such a thing. Robbing from them, why don't we just rely on ourselves to earn that money? Spray of Flowers noticed the iciness in Nameless Nya's eyes and suddenly changed his tone. Right, this stupid pervert is right. I'll work hard next time and read more fortunes for people. We definitely won't go to bed hungry. Captain, don't worry. The bewitching Taoist devotee nodded continuously and gave his guarantee. I'll give you guys a few months' time. If you still can't find Worryless, I'll kill all of you, Nameless Nya warned them coldly. Chapter 598, Had a baby with a wild man. Spray of Flowers had a sad face when he heard that. Captain, you're too unfair. Feng Xianyi is now in Country Z's Sea family and became a dark team bodyguard or something, always sitting around waiting to die, leading such a comfortable life, and he doesn't even bother looking for Worryless. If you need to kill someone, you should kill him first. That's right, kill that bloody stutterer first, the foreigner echoed. Stop talking nonsense. Nameless Nya sneered. Feng Xianyi earns the most every month. Otherwise, all of you would have starved to death. He gets paid well, why don't I apply to be a dark team bodyguard as well? I promise to perform better than that stutterer, the bewitching devotee suggested after some thought. Nameless Nya gave the bewitching devotee side-eye. If you have that energy, go find Worryless. Captain, don't be so worried. Worryless is strong, what kind of danger could she be in? The bewitching devotee smiled. Even though they had never seen Worryless Nya, she had quite a reputation. After all, she's been missing for 4 years, Nameless Nya frowned. Then, it seems like there are only 3 possibilities, the bewitching devotee said in a serious manner. The first possibility is that Worryless lost her memory due to an accident, so in these 5 years, she hasn't contacted her family at all. The second possibility is that Worryless Nya eloped with a wild man, and the third possibility is that after Worryless lost her memory, she eloped with a wild man, the bewitching devotee said. Nameless Nya pinched his brows. His younger sister, Worryless Nya, was with a wild man before. He received news that 5 years ago, Worryless Nya had a romantic relationship with a wild man from Country Z. Seeing Nameless Nya's expression, Spray of Flowers was slightly stunned. Worryless really had a wild man, huh? But didn't you mention that she had a fiancé in Europe? Her fiancé was the underground emperor of Europe called Ji Xiu Ran. They call him Emperor Ji, the bewitching devotee said after thinking for a moment. Soon, the dumplings, alcohol, and dishes arrived. After the beautiful iceberg man inspected the food for poison, they dug in. Nameless Nya ate a dumpling and said, My younger sister's just like me, we both think that worldly customs are bullshit. That fiancé of hers was arranged by the family, how could he prevent her from messing around outside? She went away with that wild man from Country Z and even had a baby. Spray of Flowers was dumbfounded. She had a fiancé, yet she still gave birth to a child with a wild man. She's truly wilder than me. Who's the wild man? The brick mover foreigner friend asked. Not sure. I've never met him, but judging by how my nephew looks, he should be quite good looking. Since he doesn't know about Worryless' identity and that my sister gave birth to his child, he doesn't even have a clue he's already a father. If I find that wild man, I'll kill him. Nameless Nya said. Captain, don't be like that. It's great that Worryless is with that wild man, this way, there'll be nobody to fight with me for Emperor Ji. No matter how good-looking that wild man is, I bet he's not better than Emperor Ji. Spray of Flowers became starry-eyed. Bloody pervert. The bewitching devotee spat, then turned to Nameless Nya. Captain, what distinctive features does your sister have? I left my family in my teens, so I only met my sister a couple times. I only remember how she looked like when she was 17, pretty, Nameless Nya said. Tisk, could she be as pretty as me? Spray of Flowers was displeased. However, Spray of Flowers was completely ignored. Oh right, I remember that my sister had a crescent-shaped birthmark on her chest, Nameless Nya added. Chapter 599, The Little Devil Was Born. The bewitching devotee immediately said firmly, Captain, don't worry. I'll definitely find your sister. With just this birthmark. I would climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames, I'll find her regardless of the sacrifices I have to make. Also, nameless Nia took out an old photo and showed it to them. In the photo, there was a refined-looking girl. However, her eyes were ice cold, which gave them the goosebumps. This is my younger sister when she was 17. My sister doesn't have many photos, so I got Emperor G to give me this photo just 3 days ago, nameless Nia said. Hold on, the bewitching devotee scanned the photo and was puzzled. I think I've seen this person somewhere. That news pricked nameless Nia's ears and his chopsticks stopped in midair. The bewitching devotee knitted his brows and looked at nameless Nia. That time at the food stalls, that famous Yi, you're saying famous Yi is my younger sister? Nameless Nia shook his head and said, they look a little alike and I did suspect it at first, but she didn't recognize me at all and her temperament was way too different. I see, the bewitching devotee let out a sigh and returned the photo to nameless Nia. Captain, the Nia clan and Emperor G have sent people to look for her for so long, we really might not be able to find her. Maybe Worryless and the wild man are inseparable and she doesn't want you to find her, so you might not be able to find her at all. I don't think that's possible. Nameless Nia shook his head. Even though the wild man didn't know about his child, my sister knew about it, so how could they be so inseparable that she didn't even want her own child anymore? They were speaking when nameless Nia's phone suddenly rang and the caller ID indicated that it was from a European territory. He just accepted the call when a tender but emotionless voice came through. Uncle, have you found her? Regretfully, not yet, nameless Nia said. I guess I too am very regretful. I'll tell Grandpa and Grandma that you have a problem with your sexual orientation. A slightly childish yet cold voice traveled through the receiver. Shit. Who has a problem with his sexual orientation, huh? Nameless Nia raged. I have video evidence of spray of flowers calling you hubby and pouncing into your arms. As long as the person looks handsome, he'll call anyone hubby and pounce onto him, okay? Nameless Nia felt like he was losing his mind. Too bad, Grandpa and Grandma might not listen to your explanation. You damn child. Nameless Nia was on the verge of breaking down. Is this kid really just 5 years old? 3 months. If you still can't find her, I will only be very regretful. Hey. Hello. Without waiting for nameless Nia's response, the line was cut off. Captain, what's up? The foreigner friend asked out of curiosity. At that moment, nameless Nia gritted his teeth and bellowed at them, all of you, go make some money for me. It's almost the end of the month, whoever has the worst performance shall be banished to Africa to carry out a mission. Why Africa again? The bewitching devotee put on a sad face. I just returned from Africa last month. Captain, then we shall go off to earn some money now. Spray of flowers and the others looked as if they wanted to run. Hold it. Nameless Nia stood up and said in a serious manner, what's our slogan? Nothing's nicer than dumplings, nothing's more fun than sister-in-law. Captain eats dumplings, we play with sister-in-law. The 4 of them chanted at the same time like they had done it a million times before. Continue, nameless Nia dictated. Captain of the god of death, talented and suave, cool 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 cool, strong 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 strong. Get lost. Nameless Nia waved them away. Following nameless Nia's orders, the 4 of them dispersed like birds and vanished without a trace. Nameless Nia continued eating the dumplings inside. Dumb girl, where are you exactly? Do you still care about that son of yours? Chapter 600, went over obediently in the bar. Gong Su's charming face turned ugly when he saw how Yi Wanwan was harassed the entire night. Step aside, step aside. Yi Ji is mine exclusively, so even if she knew how to read fortunes, she can only read mine. Gong Su was upset and he pulled Yi Wanwan over to sit next to him. Yi Wanwan was finally able to get some peace, all thanks to Gong Su. After she sat down, Yi Wanwan turned to Han Xianyu and asked helplessly, what exactly did Xanjia say about me? Han Xianyu replied helplessly as well, Lately, she's been telling everyone she meets that a formidable expert predicted she would get the Golden Orchid Award this year for sure. Yi Wanwan sighed like she was having a migraine. As she spoke to Han Xianyu, excited chatter came from the other side. All she saw was a male artist dressed very fashionably who dazzled everybody as he walked in. Many artists stepped forward to ask about his outfit. Yi Wanwan stared at that avant-garde male artist and muttered, "That artist in the middle is..." Han Xianyu glanced at her. "What's up? Interested?" "He's a newbie at Assembly of Stars Entertainment and already has a manager." Assembly of Stars Entertainment? Hearing those 4 words, Yi Wanwan's face darkened. Assembly of Stars was the company operated by Shin Mengqi's family. Han Xianyu explained, Ever since the stylist, He Juncheng, joined Assembly of Stars Entertainment, their newbies started looking pretty stylish and are widely known for their fashion-forward style of dress. Most importantly, each of the newbies has their own style. It can be said that Assembly of Stars Entertainment can successfully push out so many newbies in such a short time mostly because of Hu Juncheng. Listening to what Han Xianyu said, Yi Wanwan's heart was filled with ridicule and iciness. Because of He Juncheng. Ever since her brother, Yi Mufan, was tricked by Shin Mengqi to go over to Assembly of Stars Entertainment, all the newbies were actually styled by him. It was just that under Shin Mengqi's flowery persuasion, all the credit and status went to Assembly of Stars Entertainment's head stylist, He Juncheng. Shin Mengqi's reasoning was that Yi Mufan's family was now pretty much being shut out by Yi Group after all. Shin Mengqi told her brother that if he was too high-profile, Yi Group would find trouble for the Shin family, so she made her brother hide behind the scenes while Hu Juncheng claimed all the credit for Yi Mufan's efforts. People in love really had a negative IQ score. She really had to hand it to her brother for believing Shin Mengqi without any complaints or regrets. He slaved so hard for Assembly of Stars Entertainment and had all the troublesome things pushed onto him. Once his value was squeezed dry, Shin Mengqi simply kicked him away. When Han Xianyu saw Yi Wanwan's change of expression, he immediately placed his glass down and asked, "What's wrong? You don't look too good." Yi Wanwan shook her head. "Nothing. Got angered by a fool." Han Xianyu looked at her, worried. He reached out and touched her forehead. "Are you sure?" Yi Wanwan smiled and reassured him, "Really, I'm fine, don't worry." Gong Su, who was sitting next to Yi Wanwan, dragged her back with so much effort, but in the end, she kept talking to Han Xianyu which caused Gong Su to be quite upset. As she spoke, she noticed that Luo Chen was sitting in the corner all alone the whole time and didn't even mingle with anyone. She let out a sigh and called out to him, "Luo Chen, come over and take a seat here." Luo Chen's eyes lit up the moment Yi Wanwan called him and he obediently went over. Chapter 601, Sit upright. However, Gong Su wouldn't give up his seat for sure. He glared at Luo Chen unhappily and moved even closer towards Yi Wanwan. "Never mind Han Xianyu, but why is another person joining them? Annoying." Yi Wanwan saw that Gong Su wasn't giving up his seat and was thinking about where Luo Chen could sit when Han Xianyu stood up and moved aside for Luo Chen, allowing him to sit next to Yi Wanwan. "You can sit here." "Thank you, Yuji." Luo Chen thanked him then sat down next to Yi Wanwan. Gong Su immediately felt even moodier. During such parties in the past, he would be the wildest and happiest, but for some reason, he was feeling angry the whole time tonight. Gong Su's resentment transformed into a little ghost and floated out of his head. "Yi Ji, you don't even pay attention to me or play with me." Yi Wanwan sighed. "How do you want me to pay attention to you?" She had been listening to his chatter the entire night. Gong Su was about to speak when Tang Xinghuo looked at him suspiciously. "Gong Su, what's wrong with you? You're a grown man, yet you keep pestering Yi Bai." It was as if Gong Su didn't mind Tang Xinghuo's ridicule. He glued himself onto Yi Wanwan's shoulder. "I just like Yi Ji. I like to talk to him, so what?" Yi Bai was different from those bootlicking managers he used to have. His nonchalant mannerisms were simply too cool and he really liked the way Yi Bai disciplined him sternly. Actually, even if it wasn't for little Candied Plum, he quite liked Yi Bai as a person. Gong Su was deep in thought when that crisp scent wafted into his nostrils once again. Why does Yi Ji smell so good, and feel so soft? Gong Su wanted to get closer to Yi Wanwan subconsciously but was pushed away by her. Sit upright. This fella just stuck himself to me for no reason. He's really a big headache. Oh, Gong Su looked like he just got his heart broken. Tang Xinghua saw how Gong Su was acting like an obedient baby and it simply stung his eyes. He couldn't bear to witness this, so he looked away. Why do I find that Gong Su's attitude towards Yi Bai is a little weird? After Yi Wanwan stuck around for a while longer, she bid farewell and left. Why are you going home so early? Gong Su whined unhappily. Yi Wanwan used the 10,000-year-old excuse, my girlfriend doesn't want to go to bed alone. Girlfriend again. Gong Su didn't have a choice and could only watch as Yi Wanwan stood up and Luo Chen naturally went along with her. As Han Xianyu had a work assignment and had to be up early, he left with them. After Yi Wanwan left, Gong Su, who always partied till the sun was out, suddenly slumped down onto the sofa like a deflated balloon and wasn't interested in anybody who tried to chat with him. He initially had so many opportunities to fish out more information about little Candied Plum, but in the end, he was just focused on chasing away the flies around Yi Bai. What a grave mistake. Blame all those flies for obstructing me. That's right, this must be the reason. Tang Xinghua was curious the whole time and when he saw that Yi Bai left, he quickly went over to fish out some juicy gossip. Gong Su, what exactly is going on with you, huh? Gong Su was feeling irritable and he glared at him. Don't talk to me, you're so damn irritating. Why do you have so much to say? Tang Xinghua, huh? I just said one sentence, alright? Seeing that Gong Su was acting like it was that time of month, Tang Xinghua was speechless. Chapter 602, Multi-Level Marketing. At the same time, downstairs. Leader Yuan Sheng, it's really a pity. Initially, this post of head captain was definitely yours, but in the end, that Yi Wanwan woman had a loose screw somewhere in her head and insisted on going against you. A certain dark team guard from the Xi family said to Yuan Sheng. Leader Yuan Sheng must have given in to Yi Wanwan, otherwise, HNG, if the late master was still around, we wouldn't be in this state. The competition became a children's game, letting a woman run into the ring in the middle of the fight. In the end, the post of head captain actually went to that garbage stutterer who can't even speak clearly. Shut up. Yuan Sheng's gaze swept across them and his face turned gloomy. At that moment, Yuan Sheng was filled with fury at the mention of Yi Wanwan and Feng Xianyi's names. Right, let's not talk about that woman, she dampens our mood. Today, we, Dark Team 4, are out here for a small get-together. We have to drink till we're gone. While they spoke, Dark Team 4 reached the entrance of the bar. Yuan Sheng had just become the leader of Dark Team 4, so they decided to throw a party for him. At this moment, Yi Wanwan and the others ended their gathering and were making their way out of the bar. Dark Team. When Yi Wanwan saw the Xi family's Dark Team guards in front of the bar, she was stunned. She thought back and guessed that Dark Team 4 was there to celebrate Yuan Sheng becoming their new leader. Yi Wanwan came out disguised as Yi Bai and was hidden amongst the crowd, so the guards of Dark Team 4 didn't notice her. The assistant took Luo Chen back. Han Xianyu then turned to Yi Wanwan and asked, Yi Bai, are you still going over to your girlfriend's place? Yi Wanwan, N. Han Xianyu nodded. Alright then, I'll take my leave first. Yi Wanwan, alright, take care. Sure. Han Xianyu had already taken a step forward, but in the end, he turned around and urged Yi Wanwan worriedly, you don't look too good tonight. Remember to take some medicine if you're not feeling well. Sure, thanks. Yi Wanwan said gratefully. Han Xianyu, good night. Yi Wanwan, good night. After they said their goodbyes, Han Xianyu went into the car that was already waiting by the road. Yuji, are you going back to the apartment? The driver glanced at the man in the back seat and asked. Han Xian Yu thought about it, then finally decided, forget it, head to the villa. Initially, he stayed at the apartment only to hide from the paparazzi, but after that, since Yi Bai was living next door, he continued staying at the apartment so that it would be convenient for him to go over from time to time for a chat. But lately, Yi Bai hadn't been going to the apartment often, so staying there by himself was pretty meaningless. Alright, the driver replied. Yuan Wan didn't care much about seeing Yuan Sheng and the others at the bar. However, just as Yuan Wan was about to get a cab to head to Jean Garden, something caught her eye and she stopped in her tracks. She saw that about 100 meters away, a man dressed as a Taoist devotee with a bewitching appearance was slowly making his way towards the bar. The bewitching Taoist devotee held a horsetail whisk in his left hand and a white cloth streamer in his right. He even had a bottle gourd hung around his waist and he really looked quite spiritual. If Yuan Wan hadn't met him previously and knew how unreliable he was, she might really be deceived by his appearance. The Taoist devotee from that multi-level marketing group. Yuan Wan was somewhat taken aback and never thought she would see one of the members of the 5-member MLM group here. Seeing that devotee, Yuan Wan was slightly suspicious. Are these people here to do MLM? Chapter 603, What a Big Bully, What Era Are We In, Always Scamming and Deceiving People, Swindling Their Money Away. Spit. When the guards of Dark Team 4 saw that bewitching Taoist devotee, one of them spat at his feet. The Taoist devotee stopped instantly, bent over to look at his feet, then lifted his head and asked the bodyguard, Bro, were you the one who spat on my shoe? Hearing that, the bodyguard sneered. Yes, you're right. I did it. So what? Do you have a problem? No, no, no. That bewitching Taoist devotee quickly shook his head. No problem, I was just asking. The members of Dark Team 4 burst out in laughter. At least this bastard was sensible. Get lost, don't be an eyesore here. Yuan Sheng waved him off. Alright, alright. The bewitching devotee turned around and left. However, he only took 2 steps forward before he suddenly turned around. Fate has brought us here, why don't you let this poor Taoist read your fortune today? The bewitching Taoist devotee didn't even wait for him to reply. He immediately closed his eyes, started chanting and moved his fingers. Very soon, that bewitching devotee opened both his eyes. Bad, bad. I'm afraid you guys will encounter a bloody calamity soon. What did you say? That guard who spat at the Taoist devotee was enraged and he scoffed. This fella actually cursed me with a bloody calamity. I said you guys will meet a bloody calamity soon, the bewitching devotee repeated in a serious manner. Your mom. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll kill you. Get lost. The bodyguard quickly moved forward and pressed on towards the Taoist devotee. Alright, alright. Forget it if you don't believe me. But who's going to graciously pay for my fortune-telling services? $1,000. Thank you. After he said that, the devotee stretched his arm out towards the bodyguard. Witnessing this situation before her, the corners of Yuan Wan's lips twitched. Is this devotee from the 5-member MLM group insane? Can't he see that there are so many members in Dark Team 4? By telling them that they'll meet a bloody calamity, is he itching for a fight? As expected, the bodyguard instantly bellowed in rage. I think you're courting death. Following that, the bodyguard's fist advanced towards the devotee's face. When the devotee saw that, the corners of his lips lifted upwards, revealing a strangely terrifying and cold smile. At the moment, all they saw was the horsetail whisk in the devotee's hand raised. Before anyone knew what was happening, they saw the bodyguard's body being flung away. He flew over 10 meters before falling onto the ground hard. Whoa! The bodyguard spat out blood, his face was completely pale and his body trembled vigorously. I just said you'll meet a bloody calamity, this poor Taoist is very accurate, yet you guys refuse to pay up, what a big bully. The bewitching Taoist devotee shook his head and looked helpless. Yuan was shocked when she saw what happened, and a thought flashed in her head. Expert. Although it was just one single move, Yuan could already tell that this Taoist devotee wasn't a simple man. And he was much more skilled than her. You're dead. Instantly, countless bodyguards surrounded the bewitching devotee. This poor Taoist shall read your fortunes too. The bewitching devotee looked at those bodyguards and lowered his head, pinching his fingers like he was really concentrating. In a flash, the bewitching devotee lifted his head and looked at all the bodyguards around him. You guys will meet a bloody calamity as well. Calamity your mom. The bodyguards yelled in anger. Chapter 604, Can't afford to offend. However, the insult just left his mouth when the devotee's horsetail whisk moved slightly and immediately caused those bodyguards to vomit blood. See, isn't this poor Taoist very accurate? I said you guys will encounter a bloody calamity, so why didn't you guys believe me, huh? The bewitching devotee shook his head and sighed. You're so dead. Yuan Sheng's face was so dark that he looked as if he could explode any time. Suddenly, he stepped out and directed an attack towards the devotee. Yuan Sheng's strength couldn't be compared with the other members of Dark Team 4, his attacks were vicious and firm, aiming directly for a kill. Little friend, you're going to encounter a bloody calamity next. The bewitching devotee stared at Yuan Sheng, who was charging towards him. Yuan Sheng naturally ignored him and reached the devotee in a few steps. Kneel down. The bewitching devotee sneered and suddenly pointed at Yuan Sheng's knees. The bewitching devotee moved so fast that even Yuan couldn't see it clearly. Ah! Yuan Sheng howled in pain instantly. At the same time, he plopped to the ground and knelt at the feet of the devotee. At this moment, Yuan Sheng looked at the devotee with his face covered in fear. This devotee is the scariest character I've ever met in my life. I can't even see any of his movements at all. Misunderstanding, Yuan Sheng's voice shook and went soft all of a sudden. As the saying went, a wise man knew when to retreat, there was no advantage in offending such a person. Oh, so it was a misunderstanding? Then, come clean my shoes for me, will you? A harmless smile spread across the bewitching devotee's face. Yuan Sheng gritted his teeth. Darn it! Alas, Yuan Sheng used his sleeves and wiped the spit off the bewitching devotee's shoes. This man standing in front of him was someone he really couldn't afford to offend. Is this fine? Yuan Sheng asked. Please pay up for the fortune-telling service. The bewitching devotee smiled. Sure. Yuan Sheng took a deep breath, then took out 10 pieces of brand new $100 notes and handed it to the devotee. And, that's not enough, $1,000 per person. There's so many of you, forget it, I'll give you a discount, $10,000 will do. I don't have that much cash, Yuan Sheng shook his head. No cash. The bewitching devotee took out a POS machine from his chest with ease. I support the use of credit cards as well. Everyone's expression, Yuan sized the bewitching devotee up and was completely astonished. Initially, she thought this handsome-looking devotee and nameless Nya were just multi-level marketers. She never expected that this devotee would be so terrifyingly adept. That Yuan Sheng was totally toyed around by him and didn't even have the chance to fight back. No, he didn't even have the right to fight back. Where did this bunch of people and that nameless Nya come from? Yuan was curious. She remembered that during her grandfather's birthday banquet, she bought an extremely precious bone from nameless Nya's little stall for a price of 100 yuan. At the time, she thought she was just lucky, but it looked like this group of people weren't as simple as they appeared on the surface. Now, Yuan Sheng took his card out and swiped $10,000 on the bewitching devotee's POS machine. The remaining guards of Dark Team 4 stared at the bewitching devotee and were totally frightened like they'd just seen a ghost. They never heard of such a scary person in Imperial City. Let's go. Yuan Sheng wasn't in the mood to celebrate anymore. He waved the guards off, turned around and left. He didn't want to stay there for a second longer. Chapter 605, I have a son, yet I didn't know about it. Thank you for your patronage. Hope to see you again. The bewitching devotee waved Dark Team 4 goodbye. After Dark Team 4 left, the bewitching devotee hummed a tune and seemed to be in pretty good spirits. Hee hee, $10,000, enough for the captain to have as many dumplings as he wants, the bewitching devotee mumbled. With this $10,000, he wouldn't have to worry about this month's performance anymore and would definitely be one of the top performers in the group. I don't have to go to Africa now. Yi Wanwan watched for a little while, then was about to leave. However, the bewitching devotee suddenly spotted the nearby Yi Wanwan and immediately walked towards her. Standing next to Yi Wanwan, the bewitching devotee sized her up and smiled after some time. Famous Yi, we meet again. Yi Wanwan was slightly taken aback. I'm dressed as a man, but he could still tell it was me. What famous Yi? You got the wrong person, okay? Yi Wanwan coughed lightly and concealed her identity. Babe, this disguise of yours is a little rough. If you want, I can teach you something more advanced. The bewitching devotee shook his head and sighed. His eyes were filled with disdain. This famous Yi simply put on a men's outfit and applied some makeup, thinking that this would be enough to hide from me. Is she kidding me? You could tell. Yi Wanwan was amazed. She planned out her male disguise meticulously that even her parents wouldn't be able to recognize her, yet this devotee actually saw right through her with just a glance. Looks like, really looks like, the devotee didn't answer Yi Wanwan's question but mumbled to himself instead. Looks like what? Yi Wanwan asked out of curiosity. Like worryless Nya, the bewitching devotee murmured. Who's worryless Nya? Yi Wanwan was puzzled. Forget about this first. Famous Yi, how old are you this year? The bewitching devotee realized that when he took a closer look, this famous Yi really looked similar to the worryless Nya from the photo. 20, why? Although Yi Wanwan didn't know what this devotee was up to, she still answered him truthfully. 20. When the bewitching devotee heard that, he pondered it for a moment. If she's 20 then their age doesn't really match. Worryless Nya should be about 23 or 24 this year. Famous Yi, have you lost your memory before? Or been together with a wild man? Or perhaps lost your memory and been together with a wild man? The bewitching devotee quickly asked a string of questions. Yi Wanwan, I really feel like tearing his mouth off right now. Or maybe, you might have a 5-year-old son but don't know about it, the devotee asked seriously. The veins on Yi Wanwan's forehead protruded slightly. I have a son but don't know about it. Are you an idiot? Seeing that Yi Wanwan was silent, the devotee asked seriously, Babe, can you let me take a look at your chest? Yi Wanwan couldn't tolerate this anymore. She narrowed her eyes and glared at the devotee. TSK, my friend, I've read your fortune just now, I'm afraid you'll encounter a bloody calamity yourself tonight. The devotee swallowed hard when he saw the fake smile on Yi Wanwan's face and realized that he asked for a beating by asking these questions. He forced a laugh and said, ha ha. I just predicted that my house might be on fire. I'll get going first, babe. We'll meet again if we're fated to do so. The lowly devotee immediately took off. Looking in the direction the devotee had gone, Yi Wanwan pinched her brows, completely speechless. He's very skillful but probably has something wrong with his brain, he's simply nuts, mini theater little devil, mommy. Yi Wanwan, who are you? Don't be silly. I'm only 20, how could I have a son your age? Little devil, daddy. See Han, Wanwan, I don't have an illegitimate child, trust me. Little devil, so both my daddy and mommy don't have any idea they had me? Chapter 606, I'm really starving, I'm back. Yi Wanwan returned to Jean Garden and the first thing she saw when she opened the door was Si Han sitting on the sofa in the living room with his laptop. Seeing Si Han sitting in the living room, Yi Wanwan was slightly puzzled. Baby, why are you sitting here and not in your room? Si Han was about to speak when Yi Wanwan sat her butt down. You said before that the lighting is better there. Are you going to tell me that the feng shui in the living room is better now? You don't have to say one thing and mean something else. I know you were especially waiting for me to come home. Si Han, she used to be so afraid of Si Han, but now, when she saw him, she couldn't stop teasing him. Yi Wanwan wanted to continue teasing him but realized she didn't have any strength anymore. She immediately covered her belly and wailed, "Baby, I'm hungry." Si Han glanced at the girl next to him, then leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Yi Wanwan coughed lightly. Not that kind of hungry. I'm really starving. You didn't eat? What's there to eat at that kind of gathering? Yi Wanwan whined. She spent the entire night listening to Gong Su prattling on like a broken recorder. Si Han waved his arm and called a servant over. Shortly after, the kitchen prepared a table full of piping hot dishes for supper. They had everything from wontons to steamed stuffed buns and all kinds of dumplings. In the past, Yi Wanwan didn't even dare to ask for permission to leave the house, but now, there was supper prepared for her even when she came home late. She felt like she was simply dreaming. As long as she kept the great devil happy, her life would be pretty good. Everything was manageable with a great devil who wasn't jealous. Yi Wanwan was happily enjoying her supper and feeding Si Han a few mouthfuls when her WeChat suddenly exploded with notifications and kept ringing non-stop. As expected, it was Gong Su spamming her once again. Gong Su, Yiji, when exactly are you going to let me meet little candied plum? Gong Su, Yiji, do you not love me anymore? Gong Su, otherwise, why wouldn't you arrange some work assignments for me? Gong Su, Yiji, are you ignoring me and blocking me? Yi Wanwan was speechless as she read the messages. W Ho in the entire entertainment industry has the ability to block you, great young master. Yi Bai, I prepared the script for your upcoming show, please be patient. Yi Wanwan replied swiftly, then quickly muted her phone. Gong Su had too many black marks against him, his reputation was horrendous and it was impossible to clear up his name. Right now, the best solution was to solve the root of the problem and let him have a piece of work where he could display his skills. After all, the most fundamental skill for an actor was still his acting skills. An artist acting was the best PR. However, to produce a piece of work that was good enough was quite a challenge for Gong Su. Even if he started to cram some training now, getting his acting skills to take a giant leap in such a short amount of time was impossible, so she could only put in some effort with his script. As it turned out, she knew about a script that was very suitable for Gong Su. If everything went smoothly, Gong Su would have a sliver of hope. Si Han looked at Yi Wanwan's phone that was vibrating non-stop and frowned. Yi Wanwan noticed and immediately slid her phone away, then said solemnly, the people in the entertainment industry don't have anything to do now, they love spreading gossip, including all kinds of messy news. They really are shallow. Baby, don't you worry, I'm not like them. Si Han looked suspiciously at her in a casual manner. Oh. How are you different? Yi Wanwan hugged her bowl of rice. I can never be full. Si Han. Chapter 607, took the initiative to ask her out. Imperial Media University, there was a professor's class worth listening to that day, so Yi Wanwan deliberately took time off to make a trip to school and also to handle some procedures for skipping a year. After class, Jiang Yan asked Yi Wanwan to have a meal with her nearby. Wanwan, you're finally back. I'm so bored. I'm practically living alone in a dorm that's supposed to be for 4 people, one of them only comes once every 1 to 2 weeks and I can't even remember how the other 2 look like already. I heard they already signed contracts at an entertainment firm. Jiang Yan whined and complained. Most art major students at Imperial Film University started working once they were in their first year. Many of them even debuted before starting university, so it was very normal for attendance to be low. It was the same case for Imperial Media University as well. Many students only rushed to accumulate their credits when exams were around the corner. Yi Wanwan laughed. Why, is Chu Feng not providing you with enough company? He's been following a tutor around to do research. Jiang Yanran replied. Then she suddenly recalled something and said, oh right, Wanwan, guess who I bumped into a few days back? Who? Shin Mengqi. Jiang Yanran said, she was so fake and invited me to join Assembly of Stars Entertainment and even said she wants to sign me. When Yi Wanwan heard that, a mocking smile appeared on her face. Shin Mengqi wasn't being fake, she was deliberately showing off. Jiang Yanran was just a student nobody was interested in, while Shin Mengqi was already a rising star in the entertainment industry, the big missy of Assembly of Stars Entertainment. Her future was limitless. However, Assembly of Stars Entertainment is progressing quite well. They produced quite a number of popular newbies. Shin Mengqi just debuted and was already crowned the fashion leader. Seniors in the fashion industry praised her outfits before. Yi Wanwan didn't have to guess to know who was behind the packaging of Shin Mengqi. At this moment, Yi Wanwan's phone started ringing. Yi Wanwan was taken aback when she saw the caller ID. It's brother calling. Yi Wanwan knitted her brows. She went silent for a while before she answered. Hello. Are you in school? I'm at your school gate. Come out, I need to talk to you, Yi Mu Fan said over the phone. Yi Mu Fan actually took the initiative to invite me to talk. Yi Wanwan considered it for a second and replied, 5 minutes. Seeing that Yi Wanwan didn't look too great, Jiang Yanran asked, Wanwan, who called? My brother. Ah. Jiang Yanran knew a little about Yi Mu Fan, and when she heard that, she asked carefully, is your brother still working at Assembly of Stars now? Yi Wanwan nodded. He asked me to meet him, so I'll have to go over for a bit. Oh. Go ahead then. It's getting late and I have to return to school anyway. See you soon. Sure, bye-bye. After they left the restaurant, Yi Wanwan walked in the direction of the school gate. As expected, she saw a familiar figure the moment she approached the gate. Although the artist's Yi Mu Fan styled were all bright and beautiful, he was dressed in clothes that were bought from street stalls. But since he had a fashion sense and good taste, he still looked dashing. The little money he earned, aside from giving some to his parents, was all spent on Shin Mengqi. In the past, Yi Mu Fan was very particular about his style of dressing and only wore custom-made clothes from certain brands. Even a small accessory had to go through over 10 stages of customization as he insisted on everything being unique. Chapter 608, Have a Boyfriend? Yi Mu Fan also loved picking out her outfits, buying clothes for her and even designing a beautiful customized dress and gown for her. After Yi Wanwan went through that terrifying attack, she gained weight the past 2 years and nearly all her clothes were specially picked out for her by Yi Mu Fan according to her figure and size. Even after she gained all that weight, she still looked good and never felt inferior due to her weight. Go. 1. Hearing Yi Wanwan's voice, Yi Mu Fan's back stiffened, then he slowly turned around and looked at her. All he saw was a girl with a ponytail dressed in a light blue dress. She stood there elegantly like a lotus flower breaking the surface, dazzling his eyes. This was the first time they met since her grandfather's birthday banquet. He always knew his own sister was beautiful. Even after she gained weight, it couldn't conceal her charming looks, but he never knew that she was this pretty. He was stunned when he saw her at the banquet that day, but this girl in front of him right now was even more lively and vivacious than before. Just like a flower that was full of dew and sunshine. Compared to her horrendous and weird style of dress in the past, not to mention the fact that she used to chase after Gu Yuze, it was like those were two completely different people. At first, he didn't believe she could change, but after such a long time, he had to believe that she really was different now. Yi Wanwan didn't know what to say all of a sudden and spoke up only after some time. You were looking for me? Yi Mu Fan was also silent for a long while before replying, I heard from Mom and Dad that you're seeing someone now. That's right. I already said so that day at the banquet when I called off the engagement with Gu Yuze. I'm in love with someone else. Yi Mu Fan probably heard something from Liang Wanjun and Yi Xiaoting as there was slight displeasure on his face. When will you stop going for guys just because of their looks? He works at the C Corporation and his last name is C, he probably doesn't have a simple background. Also, you looked so horrible before, so why would he have a thing for you? Why would he be faithful and never leave you? You believe whatever he says, huh? He said he works at the C Corporation, but does he actually? Yi Wanwan was calm. I know what I'm doing. Yi Mu Fan scoffed. What do you know? Aren't you sick of always being lied to? Yi Wanwan was forced to suppress her anger and she looked at Yi Mu Fan coldly. TSK, at least I'm better than you, I got back on the right path, but you? You're still being manipulated and controlled by Shin Meng Qi. Why would Shin Meng Qi have a thing for you and never leave you? You believe whatever she says, huh? You, Yi Mu Fan was at a loss for words and yelled back, don't compare any random person to Shin Meng Qi. I'm not here to fight with you, I have something important to tell you. Let me ask you, are you working at Dazzling Media? What, is there a problem? Resign immediately, Yi Mu Fan said. Reason? Yi Mu Fan was very agitated. Reason, must there be a reason? Don't you know that Dazzling Media is the rival of Assembly of Stars Entertainment? They're trying to bring down Assembly of Stars Entertainment everywhere and oppose them. Yet you're still working at Dazzling, what's the meaning of this? TSK, how could I not have known? Ever since she became the director of talent recruitment, she was the one who was secretly beating down Assembly of Stars Entertainment and snatching their resources. Chapter 609, Is there something wrong in your head? Yi Wanwan curled her lips and mocked him. You can be a slave for daddy's driver, so why can't I work for a subsidiary of Worldwide? Yi Wanwan. Anything related to Shin Meng Qi would provoke Yi Mu Fan instantly. Don't make it sound so horrible. Uncle Shen is no longer Dad's driver, and even if he was, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Meng Qi has always been so nice towards you and put in good words for you, she's always thought about you and stood behind your back. She even repeated a year in school just to accompany you, but what did she get in return? You insulting her and her parents as well? Hearing how Yi Mu Fan was so faithful towards Shin Meng Qi and treated the Shin family as his own, attacking her to protect the Shin family, Yi Wanwan nearly laughed in frustration. In her previous life, not only did Shin Meng Qi bully her till there was no good skin left on her body, but she directly ruined Yi Mu Fan's life, and in the end, her parents and family were all dragged into the mess. She remembered very clearly that in order to let the Shin family get a piece of land for investment, she urged and sent Yi Mu Fan to the Yi family to steal the tender document. And Yi Mu Fan actually went. Alas, the Shin family got the piece of land, but Yi Xiaoan and Yi Yi found out what Yi Mu Fan did. Although her father allegedly did something wrong, he was still the eldest son in the family. Yi Mu Fan was also the eldest grandson, so her grandparents were soft-hearted and let them both come back home. This was why her second uncle and Yi Yi always viewed her family as a thorn in their sides. Yi Xiaoan always wanted to destroy her father and was anxiously trying to find a way to do so. In the end, Yi Mu Fan simply handed it to him. The final outcome was that her grandparents were enraged. They completely cut ties with her parents and even wanted Yi Mu Fan to take on legal responsibilities. Her father then went to jail in order to protect her brother, which wore his body down thoroughly, and it was also at that time. In this life, according to Yi Wanwan's estimations, that incident should be happening quite soon. The competitive tendering of that land should be starting soon. Judging by Yi Mu Fan's actions now, he would definitely do whatever Shin Meng Qi asked him to do. Yi Wanwan couldn't keep it in any longer. She looked straight at him and yelled, Yi Mu Fan. Could you please wake up? You're a small assistant stylist at Assembly of Stars Entertainment, you're hiding behind He Junqing like a dog, helping them package their artists, but in the end, all the honor and credit goes to him. Is there something wrong in your head? What exactly are you thinking? Yi Mu Fan's expression didn't change at all. What do you know? Shen Mengqi's doing this for my sake. Yi Wan, let me tell you, Shen Mengqi is the most important woman in my life, and if you continue treating her with this attitude, there's nothing left to say between us. Yi Mu Fan left in a rage after he said that. Watching Yi Mu Fan's retreating figure, Yi Wan wanted to stop him, tell him not to believe Shen Mengqi and not to be foolish. However, nothing came out of her mouth. Because even if she said all this now, Yi Mu Fan wouldn't believe her and it would only worsen their relationship. Even if he believed her, she could stop him once, but she might not be able to do so twice. This time, she had to wake Yi Mu Fan up and give him a thorough lesson. As for her parents, she could only let them suffer a little for the time being. Otherwise, if she didn't settle this issue with her brother completely, her parents would experience even more heartbreak in the future. Chapter 610, A Piece of Cake. Assembly of Stars Entertainment. A silver Ferrari whizzed over and stopped at the entrance. A man dressed in exquisite brands from head to toe with an expensive pair of sunglasses adjusted his lapel as he stepped out of the car. The moment he stepped into the company, there were quite a number of artists and staff members who stepped forward to respectfully greet him. Good morning, Head Stylist He. Head Stylist He, you said you'd be styling me before. When are you free? Everyone's waiting for you. Head Stylist He promised me first, alright? There was no need to mention the importance of the stylist team behind a star. Many megastars had capable teams of top-notch stylists behind the scenes, allowing them to have redoubled power. He Juncheng was now the hottest stylist in the entertainment industry. He won the last SN Fashion Grand Ceremony Annual Stylist Award and was known as the Godly Stylist, while Shen Mengqi was also praised as the Fashion Guru. As long as she wore his outfits, she would instantly become a hit. She gained the favor of many fashion brands, receiving various endorsements the moment she debuted. He Junqing jingled the keys of the Ferrari and basked in the compliments, then directly made his way to the top floor in his personal elevator. In the dance studio on the top floor of the company, He Junqing quietly approached the woman who was practicing and suddenly hugged her from behind. Darling, Shen Mengqi was stunned at first, then she smiled sweetly and pretended to be annoyed. We're at the office, be careful. He Juncheng's hands fumbled around the woman's body impatiently. So we don't have to be careful when we're not at the office, huh? It's been really long since we, Shen Mengqi panted slightly. Stop messing around. Wait for this weekend. He Juncheng's eyes lit up immediately. Sure, I'll wait for you at the same old place. He Juncheng sat down on the sofa and lit a cigarette. He then said with a darkened expression, oh right, the progress of the Splendid Light project isn't looking very good. What's wrong? Shen Mengqi asked quickly. I heard the Yi family is participating in the competitive tender as well, He Junqing said. What? Shen Mengqi's face turned ugly at the mention of the Yi family. Her father had once been the servant of the Yi family and this had always been a disgrace to her. It was good that people were animals who only looked at interests. Seeing that Assembly of Stars Entertainment had been doing better and better these past 2 years, people's attitudes had started to shift. Shen Mengqi gritted her teeth and a bright light flashed in her eyes. So what? As long as we know the Yi family's bid, the Splendid Light project will be a piece of cake. He Junqing asked, how could we find out such classified information? Have you planted someone at the Yi group? Shen Mengqi said softly, you already said it's classified. Even if I secretly planted someone in there, there's still no way of getting such a confidential document. But have you forgotten someone from the Yi family who's currently working in our company? You're referring to Yi Mu Fan. That useless gigolo who only knows how to eat, drink and be merry? Aside from knowing a few styles, what can he do? He Juncheng was upset. Although Yi Mu Fan's entire family was chased out, he was once the young master of the Yi family after all. It's not entirely impossible for him to secretly get in there and help us get some information, right? He Junqing didn't look too convinced and mumbled, "Would Yi Mu Fan take this risk?" "Stealing classified information from businesses is illegal." Shen Mengqi stroked her delicately manicured nails with an arrogant look. "So what? As long as I'm the one requesting it, he'll do it for sure." Chapter 611, Hasn't touched my hand before. Han Junqing hugged Shen Mengqi's waist. "Ha, you little vixen. You made that fool head over heels in love with you, obviously he'll do whatever you tell him to." Hearing that, the corners of Shen Mengqi's lip lifted upwards and she looked very pleased. That Yi Mu Fan was definitely faithful to her. She believed that even if she told him to kill himself, Yi Mu Fan would do it without hesitation. "Hee hee, I wonder how that bitch Yi Wanwan feels when she sees me messing around with her own brother. Ha, that Yi Mu Fan should take a good look at himself through the reflection of his piss. He really thinks you're deeply in love with him, huh?" He Junqing scoffed. Before Shen Mengqi could reply, He Junqing stretched his hand out towards her chest and Shen Mengqi immediately let out a tender moan and blushed. "That Yi Mu Fan is so infatuated with you, you wouldn't let him have a taste of this sweetness, would you?" He Junqing asked as if he was insinuating something. Nonsense, Shen Mengqi got mad. "Why would I be attracted to that loser? He hasn't even touched my hands before, really?" While he spoke, He Junqing's right palm dove roughly into Shen Mengqi's top through her collar. "Of course. Facing that face of his every single day. I'm so close to puking. I did it all for you. His fashion attainments and talents truly aren't bad, but right now, they're all yours." Shen Mengqi spoke as her body involuntarily leaned against He Junqing's embrace. He Junqing was still upset. "Yi Mu Fan is just garbage, it's a lifetime of blessings he accumulated to be able to work for me. In return, I'll wait upon his beloved woman and make her comfortable." Naughty, Shen Mengqi wrapped her arms around He Junqing's neck. Late at night. Yi Mu Fan was finally done with his work and was getting ready to go downstairs, but as he walked past the office block, he noticed that Shen Mengqi's light was still on. Yi Mu Fan walked over and knocked. "Mengqi, it's so late already. Why aren't you going home yet?" Shen Mengqi looked lethargic. "I'm not done settling some things, this." Yi Mu Fan looked at the stack of documents on Shen Mengqi's desk. "The Splendid Light Project." "That's right. You know this is an investment project and it's very important to our Shen family. If we don't get it this time, we might never get such a great opportunity again. I've analyzed the companies participating in the competitive tender and made a comparison. The Shen family shouldn't have any problems clinching this project," Yi Mu Fan said. Shen Mengqi's face crumpled slightly. "Huayu, Xingde, Fang Shi, these companies definitely can't compare to us, but right now, our biggest rival is the Yi Group." Yi Mu Fan was taken aback. "What? The Yi Group is participating too?" "That's right. I just received this piece of information. Right now, what we have to offer is quite similar, we're only left with the price. If we could find out the other party's bid." Shen Mengqi shook her head and sighed. "But how could we ever find out the other party's bid? The Shen family has put in so much effort for this project, but I'm afraid we won't be able to beat the Yi family." Yi Mu Fan looked at Shen Mengqi's heavy eye bags and his heart started aching. "Don't worry about it, I'll help you find out." "Mu Fanji, thank you so much. I'm fine. Although I can't do much, I really want to do anything I can to help Daddy," Shen Mengqi said. She was about to walk to the bookshelf to take out some documents. Chapter 612, Hopeless in the End. The moment Shen Mengqi stood up, her body swayed and she fainted. "Mengqi!" Yi Mu Fan was so scared that his face contorted. He quickly rushed over and carried Shen Mengqi to the sofa, holding her close. "Mengqi, wake up, don't scare me." Yi Mu Fan was in a panic. After some time, Shen Mengqi finally gained consciousness. "Mu Fanji, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just a little dizzy, might be because I've been staying up late. Yi Mu Fan clenched his fists. Sorry, I'm so useless, that's why you have to work so hard. Nah, Mu Fanji, you've helped me a lot, Shen Mengqi said in a caring manner. Yi Mu Fan looked at her pale face and was silent for a while. Finally, he made up his mind and said firmly, Mengqi, don't worry, just go home now and get some rest. I'll settle this issue and I promise I'll be able to find out Yi Group's bid. Shen Mengqi concealed the overjoyed look on her face and asked with concern, really? But, how are you going to do that? Yi Mu Fan looked at her and reassured her. I have my own ways. Anyway, just trust me. I'll definitely do it since I made a promise to you. Shen Mengqi's eyes were filled with admiration. Mu Fanji, you're so nice to me. I feel so safe whenever I have you by my side. I'm not afraid of anything. When our company is bigger and strong enough to contend with the Yi family, you won't have to suffer and work in secret anymore. I want everyone to know how awesome my Yi Fanji is, how talented he is. When Yi Mu Fan heard that, he was moved. Silly girl, I just want you to be happy, for you. I'd do anything. Mu Fanji, Shen Mengqi leaned softly against Yi Mu Fan's chest, but her heart was filled with disdain and mockery. She knew that as long as she played a few small tricks, Yi Mu Fan would obey her and be willing to do anything for her. After she dealt with Yi Mu Fan, Shen Mengqi's eyes flashed as she probed, Oh right, Mu Fanji, have you heard anything about Wan Wan lately? Is she okay? Now that her value was rising, she would naturally wait for a good offer and wasn't in a hurry to find a financial backer. She was also merely fooling around with Yi Juncheng. After meeting a man like Si Yi Han, these ordinary folks were truly not pleasing to the eye. Yi Mu Fan's face changed at the mention of Yi Wan Wan. I don't know, haven't kept in touch with her and I have no idea what she's doing. That brat is hopeless. I heard from my parents that she's dating a gigolo now. I'm scared she'll have to help him count the money after being sold by him. Gigolo, Shen Mengqi was elated. He really dumped her once he was bored with playing with her. Too bad. I didn't get the chance to get closer to Si Yi Han before Yi Wan Wan was dumped. But she was still very happy seeing how unfortunate Yi Wan Wan was. And that insufferably arrogant Jiang Yan ran. I already tossed her away long ago. At the same time, in a certain booth at a restaurant, reporter Gao, how is it? Have you received any news? Yi Wan Wan asked. Sitting across Yi Wan Wan was the chief reporter of Mars Weekly, Gao Fei. He was the top photographer in showbiz who helped Han Xianyu clear his name under Yi Wan Wan's instructions previously. At that time, Mars Weekly was on the verge of closure, but because of Han Xianyu's incident, they rose again and Gao Fei gradually regained his former status in the industry. After Yi Wan Wan joined Dazzling, she had always kept in touch with Gao Fei. Chapter 613, So what if he sees us, Director Yi, do you have a feud with the Shin family? I see you've been messing with the Assembly of Stars Entertainment recently. Gao Fei tried to probe. Yi Wan Wan leaned against her seat. Her slender fingers grazed the porcelain teacup lightly and she casually said, kind of. Gao Fei laughed and didn't probe further. He said, Director Yi, you're right. This Shen Mengqi and He Juncheng have something going on, but she's a very cautious person. I've been following her for some time but didn't uncover anything, until a week ago. I found out that the two of them meet at a hotel regularly. Yi Wan Wan's eyes shifted slightly. Help me get their room number. No problem, don't worry. I'll give you an answer within the week. Gao Fei was straightforward. Yi Wan Wan raised her teacup in appreciation. Thanks. Director Yi, you don't have to thank me. I should be the one thanking you. If it wasn't for you that time, Mars Weekly would have ceased to exist, Gao Fei said heartily. After chatting with Gao Fei and saying their goodbyes, Yi Wan Wan stared at the news regarding the Splendid Light project and the iciness in her eyes spread. A day before the competitive tender. Late at night, Yi Mu Fan pulled out the bottommost drawer of the desk and took out a bunch of old keys. Their entire family was chased out like a pack of stray dogs before, and the old residence was also seized by Yi Xiaoting, but he made a backup of all the keys. A few years back, he accidentally misplaced the keys and especially got someone to make a new bunch, but in the end, he found the ones he misplaced. According to Yi Xiaoan's character, he would definitely keep an important document like this in the study at home. He just had to sneak in and take a glance, then he would be able to find out their bid amount without anyone knowing. After he took a deep breath, Yi Mu Fan took the keys and left. There was complete silence at the Yi family's old residence. This was where he grew up, after all, so he was very familiar with the place and could very easily avoid the security and enter the courtyard. In the dark, Yi Mu Fan was mocking himself. "TSK, this is my house, yet I have to be as sneaky as a thief when I enter." Things went better than imagined. Shortly after, Yi Mu Fan snuck into the study, successfully found the tender document for the splendid light project and peeked at the bidding price. The next morning, Assembly of Stars Entertainment, He Junqing crossed his legs and mocked. "There's no news yet, are you sure Yi Mu Fan did it?" Shen Mengqi sat there and replied plainly, "What's the rush? It's not time yet, right? Don't you have faith in me?" He Junqing laughed. "How could I not have faith in Big Missy Shin's charm? You should go first. I don't want him to find anything when he comes over later," Shen Mengqi said. She hadn't heard from Yi Mu Fan and was starting to feel anxious. So what if he sees us? What can he do to me? That spineless coward, He Junqing sneered and was leaning towards Shen Mengqi's lips when a knock came on the door. That should be Yi Mu Fan. Shen Mengqi's face lit up and she pushed He Junqing away immediately. "TSK, what a downer," He Junqing stood up unwillingly. Shen Mengqi straightened her top then said, "Come in." Yi Mu Fan entered and furrowed his brows when he saw that He Junqing was there. "I have something I need to speak to Mengqi about in private," Yi Mu Fan said. A cloud of darkness appeared in He Junqing's eyes as he stood up and pretended to be easygoing. "I'm done here anyway. You guys go ahead." Chapter 614, Nothing to do with you. Once Shen Mengqi saw Yi Mu Fan, she immediately hugged his arm intimately. "Mu Fanji, how did it go? I found out that the Yi family's bid is 78 million. You guys just need to bid higher than this and the project is yours," Yi Mu Fan said. Shen Mengqi saw how certain Yi Mu Fan was and obviously didn't dare to instantly believe him. She said hesitantly, "Mu Fanji, are you sure?" "Of course I'm not doubting you, it's just that you know how important this project is to me," Yi Mu Fan's tone was resolute. "Don't worry, I saw the Yi Group's tender document with my own eyes, it's not wrong." When Shen Mengqi heard that, her eyes glistened. Yi Mu Fan probably snuck into the Yi family's house to peek at the document. This way, it really is foolproof. Using this fool was definitely the right thing to do. Shen Mengqi's face lit up as she hugged Yi Mu Fan. "Mu Fanji, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Really, thank you." Yi Mu Fan rubbed Shen Mengqi's head. "Silly girl, why thank me? I should be thanking you for trusting me." In the hidden corner outside the office, after Yi Mu Fan left, He Junqing quietly walked out and spat a mouthful towards Yi Mu Fan's retreating figure. "Just a fool, what's there to be proud of?" He Junqing went into the office and hugged Shen Mengqi's waist. "Sweetie, so how did it go?" At this moment, Shen Mengqi was in a great mood, so she replied confidently, 78 million. When He Junqing heard that, he raised his brows slightly. "Hee, I didn't expect that second-generation Yi Mu Fan would actually betray his own family, huh?" Then his eyes shifted. He looked at Shen Mengqi and suggested, "Since we already know their bid, why don't you directly quote 78.1 million and clinch this project with minimal losses?" Shen Mengqi muttered, "But if we quote a price with such a small difference, won't they suspect something?" With just a difference of 100,000, isn't it too much of a coincidence? Wouldn't we be telling the Yi family that we knew about their bid? He Junqing opened a bottle of red wine and poured it into his glass, gently swirling it as he smiled. Meng Qi, you already got the bid, so why don't you strive for the maximum benefit? If you go any higher, you wouldn't be making any profit. Anyway, so what if they suspect us? It has nothing to do with you at all. Yi Mu Fan was the one who found out about the bid, and he was also the one who stole the confidential information so naturally, it had absolutely nothing to do with her. With that thought, Shen Meng Qi's eyes brightened up. That's right. That makes sense. Splendid Light was the first investment project she was in charge of. It was extremely important to her, so obviously, she wanted it to go as smoothly as possible. Defeating the Yi family at such a bargain? It couldn't get any better than that. He Junqing lifted his glass of red wine. Cheers. Wishing you success in clinching this project. Shen Meng Qi smiled sweetly. Cheers. On the day of the result of the tender competition. In the Grand Hall, 6 companies gathered together and were seated around a long table. Yi Group's representatives were Yi Shaoan and Yi Yi, while the Shen family had Shen Meng Qi and the deputy general manager leading the company's team. After seeing Yi Yi, Shen Meng Qi quickly greeted her warmly, Yi Jia, haven't seen you in a while. You're still so pretty and attractive. Meng Qi, Yi Yi turned to her and smiled. You're the real good-looking one. Indeed, a girl changes 18 times before reaching womanhood. 1. I almost couldn't recognize you just now. Chapter 6:15. There must be a mole. Yi Jia, you're teasing me again. How could I compare to Yi Jia's demeanor? Shen Meng Qi complimented her. After the two of them were done flattering one another, they both headed to their seats and the conference officially began. In the main seat in the middle, the person in charge stood up and announced the result. Ladies and gentlemen, after the Splendid Light Project Tender Committee's joint review, I would like to officially announce that the successful bidder is the Shen Corporation. The bidding price was 1 million. Missy, we did it. The deputy general manager and company team cheered excitedly. Shen Meng Qi smiled, looking calm and collected. As for the people from the Yi group sitting across them, all of their faces changed. What? 1 million? How could it be only 100,000 more than our bid? Isn't this too much of a coincidence, huh, Uncle Yi, Yi Jia, thank you so much for giving in to us. Shen Meng Qi wasn't worried that the Yi family would be suspicious at all. She walked over to Yi Yi and thanked her courteously. Yi Yi concealed the suspicion in her eyes and replied calmly, Nah, you guys won because of your strength. Then Yi Jia, Uncle Yi, we'll get going first. Shen Meng Qi proudly led the team and left. After being bullied by the Yi family for so long, she was finally able to take her revenge. After Shen Meng Qi and the others left, Yi Shaoan's face turned gloomy. Even a servant's daughter actually dared to strut around and show off in front of me. Actually, the Yi family didn't really care for such a small project, but being humiliated like this, where was Yi Shaoan going to place his pride? One of the higher-ups next to him said, Chairman, there must be a mole in our company. This price doesn't seem right. It's impossible they had such a small difference. Yi Shaoan scoffed softly. How could the Shen family be capable of planting a mole in the Yi group? Yi Yi was deep in thought and after a while, she said, the tender document only went through me and my father's hands from the beginning. There was nobody else involved and this document has always been locked in the study, it was impossible for it to be leaked. Then what happened exactly? Could it be that someone broke into the house? Yi Shaoting said gravely. Yi Yi seemed to have recalled something and she tried to probe, Daddy, if I didn't remember incorrectly, isn't Yi Mu Fan now working at the Shen family's Assembly of Stars? Yi Shaoan revealed a look of contempt. Yes, that's right. There were many times during gatherings when people came up and said that our Yi family's young master was working for a servant. He doesn't even find it humiliating, huh? When Yi heard that, she hesitated to speak. Then, Daddy, is it possible that Mu Fan, Yi Xiaoan's expression changed? You're saying that it was you Mu Fan who snooped at our tender document? Yi said, well, I can't be too sure since I don't have any proof. It's just that there's definitely a problem with this price and there's no one else in the company who could have possibly gotten so close to the tender document. It must have been someone from our Yi family. Yi Xiaoan sneered continuously and looked very pleased. HNG, good, very good. Well done, Yi Mu Fan. You actually had the guts to embezzle and help outsiders while living off of us. Doing something like this that harms the entire family's interests. Yi Xiaoting, I'd like to see how you're going to protect this great son of yours this time. After he said that, he turned to Yi. Yi, get someone to investigate right now. I must gather evidence. Chapter 6:16, This is for you, yes, Daddy. I'll get it done right away. Yi responded immediately. Initially, she was resentful that Yi Xiaoting was so brutal and didn't even want to acknowledge her as his daughter. But now, she felt extremely fortunate. If it wasn't for Yi Xiaoting forsaking her and her mother, she wouldn't be the only Missy and successor of the Yi family. Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan, how can these two good-for-nothing pieces of trash be qualified to compete with me for the family inheritance? She didn't care about Yi Wanwan at all. As for Yi Mu Fan, he was a little troublesome. After all, he was the only grandson in the Yi family while her mother only had her. There was no guarantee that her grandparents wouldn't take him back again for the sake of an heir. But she didn't expect that Yi Mu Fan would actually cause trouble for himself, making her life so much easier. What her grandparents hated most were actions that harmed the interests of the family. Just stealing classified information from the company and revealing it to their rivals was enough to ban him from setting foot in the Yi family and company. TSK, this time, I must really thank Shen Mengqi for giving me such a great opportunity. After the competitive tender announcement was over, Yi Mu Fan had been waiting for Shen Mengqi's news as he was feeling uneasy. Mu Fanji. Success. I got the splendid light project. After hearing from Shen Mengqi, Yi Mu Fan finally heaved a sigh of relief. Really? That's fantastic. Congratulations, Mengqi. Shen Mengqi endured the disgust and disdain she felt and fluttered into Yi Mu Fan's arms like a little bird. Mu Fanji, it's all thanks to you this time. I really don't know how to thank you. I feel like just devoting my life to you isn't enough. I want to be with you in my next life and in the life after that. Looking at her bright smile, Yi Mu Fan's eyes were filled with eagerness to pamper her. He simply wanted to give his all to her. Want to go for dinner tonight? Let's celebrate. Yi Mu Fan suggested. Hearing that, Shen Mengqi looked slightly awkward and said apologetically, well, I'm afraid I can't make it tonight. Another day, okay? She already asked He Junqing out to celebrate. As if she would still have the time for Yi Mu Fan. Even though Yi Mu Fan was slightly disappointed, he still put on a smile and said, of course. We'll wait till you're free. Tonight, your company will definitely put on a celebratory dinner for you. My bad. Mu Fanji, you're awesome. I'm heading off first. See you tomorrow. Shen Mengqi was about to leave when Yi Mu Fan grabbed her wrist and held her back. Mengqi, wait, what is it? Mu Fan stared at her delicate little face and looked a little nervous. After some time, he took out a silver necklace from his pocket. This. I designed it especially for you. All she saw was a silver necklace with an extremely unique ring dangling on it. It looked really beautiful and dreamy, but the material seemed quite ordinary. With just one look, Shen Mengqi knew it was a cheap good and her heart was full of contempt, yet she pretended to be surprised. Wow, it's really pretty. Is it for me? It's nothing expensive, but I spent 100 entire days on it. I did everything myself, from the designing to the manufacturing, and I hope that someday, I can put this ring around your finger. Yi Mu Fan looked at his beloved girl with eyes filled with deep emotion. I'm looking forward to that day too. Shen Mengqi was mocking him inside, but she urged him eagerly on the outside. Mu Fanji, quick, put it on for me. Sure. Yi Mu Fan stood behind her and carefully put on the necklace for her. Chapter 617, Must be more brutal, Mu Fanji, do I look good? Yes. Yi Mu Fan looked at her beautiful little face and restrained himself from kissing her on her forehead. Go on. NN. Bye-bye, Mu Fanji. I really like the necklace, I'll definitely take care of it properly. Shen Mengqi concealed the annoyance in her eyes and couldn't wait to leave. Grandview Park, on the sofa in the living room, Yi Wanwan opened her eyes slowly and looked at the clock hanging on the wall. At this time, the announcement of the competitive tender should have ended and the Shen family should have clinched that project. The Yi family weren't a bunch of fools, so they were probably looking for the mole right now. Yi Wanwan pinched her brows and leaned over to pick up a copy of the access card to the hotel VIP room, looking pensive. Doing this, would this be a little too brutal on brother? However, this hesitation quickly dissipated from her rationality. As the saying went, not even a prairie fire can destroy the grass. It grows again when the spring breeze blows. This time, she had to be more brutal and cut off all his hope. Otherwise, all would be for naught. It was just that she had to make her parents suffer a little. Yi family old residence, Yi Mu Fan was overconfident and thought he was careful in avoiding all the cameras, but he had forgotten the fact that he hadn't been to the old residence in a long while. Many of the camera positions had shifted. Very soon, Yi found the recording of Yi Mu Fan sneaking into the study the night before the competitive tender. How could Yi Shaoan possibly let such a great opportunity go? He immediately reported the incident to the elderly couple of the Yi family. At this moment, in the study at the old residence, Yi Shaoting, Liang Mei Xian, Yi and housekeeper, Huang Ming Kuan, were present. The elderly couple of the Yi family sat on the sofa with extremely gloomy expressions. Yi Shaoan's face was filled with regret. At first, I thought Mu Fan was just a little undisciplined, but who knew that he would actually toy with women and do something so out of hand? Liang Mei Xian sighed. This isn't only a matter of stealing, Mu Fan stole classified information from the Yi family to assist an outsider. This is too much. How could Xiaoting and Big Sister indulge their children and let them act so recklessly? Liang Mei Xian acted like she was heartbroken, but she was gloating in her heart. She originally thought Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun's son was merely incompetent and ignorant. She hadn't expected that with just a few words of coaxing from a girl, he'd do something so brainless. Truly, even God was helping her. They could finally remove this eyesore from the family. Old Master Yi slammed the table hard. Absolutely disgraceful. Is that brat trying to anger me to death? Anger me to death. Yi patted his back hastily to soothe his anger. Grandpa, don't be mad. You must take care of your health. Mu Fan was probably confused. Housekeeper Huang Ming Kuan added fuel to the fire by mumbling, Miss Yi, young Master Mu Fan did something like this that harmed the family's interests. It's simply heart-wrenching. We can't just let him off with the excuse of being confused. If we don't severely punish him today, who knows what he's capable of doing in the future. Housekeeper Huang is right. The old master bellowed, Housekeeper Huang, go on. Get that Xiaoting and his brat over right now. I want to clarify this with them in person. Yes, master. Huang Ming Kuan retreated happily. This time, I'm afraid Yi Xiaoting will never be able to return to the Yi family ever again. Chapter 618, guess what I found? Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun immediately rushed over when they received the call. Dad, Mom, it's so late. What's the matter? Yi Xiaoting asked out of curiosity. Yi Hongwei had an outburst of rage the second he saw Yi Xiaoting. You still have the cheek to ask me, huh? It's that great son of yours. Mu Fan. Yi Xiaoting was stunned. Liang Wanjun hurriedly asked, did Mu Fan get into trouble? Liang Mei Xian was wearing an expensive and luxurious outfit, there wasn't a single wrinkle on her immaculate face, and she looked loftily at Liang Wanjun, who was formerly the beauty of Imperial City but was now an old and haggard woman. Liang Mei Xian said leisurely, Jia, I'm afraid Mu Fan didn't simply cause trouble this time, what he did is considered a crime. What? A crime? Liang Wanjun said anxiously, Mu Fan is a little undisciplined, but he would never commit a crime. Liang Mei Xian sneered. Sis, you said before that Big Brother wouldn't do anything that betrayed the company, but what happened in the end, huh? Huang Mingkun immediately chimed in, there's a saying that goes like this, failing to educate the child is the fault of the father. Under the care and discipline of second young master and mistress, Miss Yi is elegant and sensible, but Miss Wanwan is out of control while young master Mu Fan is undisciplined. Now, he even did something that harmed the family's interests. I'm afraid eldest young master Xiaoting and mistress can't simply avoid the blame for this. Yi Xiaoting glanced coldly at Huang Mingkun. In the past, when he was still in the Yi family, he found out that Huang Mingkun abused his power to bully and threaten the maids in the household. He also found out that there was something going on between him and Liang Mei Xian. But since he worked for the Yi family for so many years, Yi Xiaoting saved him some face and didn't take him to the authorities directly. Yi Xiaoting merely beat him up and sent him away. Who knew that after he left the Yi family, Huang Mingkun was hired back into the family? Yi Xiaoting scoffed. Wanwan was quite absurd in the past, but today, she's changed. During the banquet that time, Dad saw it for himself too. As for Mu Fan, you said he harmed the family's interests. What proof do you have? Yi Xiaoan turned to Yi Xiaoting and smiled icily. Truly, one doesn't shed a tear till one sees the coffin. Yi Xiaoan put on a false smile and said, Big Brother, you're impressive, but I wonder if you would still be so righteous and proud when you find out the truth. Yi Group was very confident we would get the splendid light project, but in the end, this project was actually snatched away by the Shen family with a mere $100,000 price difference. It was very clear that our bidding price was leaked. The tender document only went through the hands of me and Yi, and it's always been in the study of the old residents. So let me ask you, how exactly did our bidding price get leaked? I got Yi to check all the surveillance recordings at home and finally, Big Brother, can you guess what I found? Yi Xiaoan glanced at Huang Mingkun. Huang Mingkun got the hint right away. He brought out a laptop and played a recording in front of everybody. Eldest young master, please take a look at this yourself. In the recording, Yi Mu Fan climbed over the wall and entered the yard sneakily, then entered the study and came out after a long while. After seeing the recording, Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun looked at one another in complete disbelief. They just couldn't believe their own son would do something like this. In other words, he refuses to be convinced until he is faced with the grim reality. Chapter 619, Gave you too many chances. Liang Mei Xian sighed. I didn't believe Mu Fan would do something like this at first, but the evidence is right there. He was the one who stole the classified information. Now, Jia, do you have anything to say? Liang Wanjun's expression changed. This is impossible. How could Mu Fan do such a thing? However, the surveillance camera in the hallway captured it very clearly. The one who pushed open the door to the study was Yi Mu Fan. Yi Xiaoting's face turned pale. Mu Fan, how could it be? Yi Hongwei was so mad that he threw the teacup in his hands towards Yi Xiaoting's forehead. Disgrace. I initially wanted to let Yi Mu Fan return to the company, but now it seems like there's no need for that anymore. There's no way he's going to mend his ways. Even if our Yi family dies without a descendant, we'll never let someone like him take over. At most, we'll just adopt a child from Yi and Yuze. Hearing that, Liang Mei Xian was overjoyed and Yi's eyes lit up as well. As long as Yi Mu Fan was doomed, she would be the only successor in the family, and in the future, the Yi family would belong to her and Yuze. The old madam, Tan Lan, who hadn't spoken a word from the beginning, let out a long sigh. Our family is unlucky. Unlucky, the Yi family had 2 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Yi and Yi Wanwan both weren't very similar to the Yi family elders, only Yi Mu Fan, this grandson of hers, was most like her in Hong Wei. He even inherited her talent in fashion. Thus, she favored this grandson, Yi Mu Fan, and only chased him out so he could learn through experience and mature a little. But now, he had thoroughly let her down. A successor decides the rise and fall of a family, and if the Yi family lands in the hands of someone like him, our days will be numbered. Thankfully, there's still Yuze and Yi. Yi Shaoan knew the severity of this and he begged anxiously, "Dad, please forgive Mu Fan this time." He was confused. Please give him a chance to change. Confused? He betrayed the family for a woman just because he was confused. He stole the company's classified information this time, so wouldn't he be capable of selling the entire company next time? Liang Mei Xian glanced at Yi Shaoting meaningfully. Yi Hongwei recalled how his eldest son embezzled the company's funds, and this thought infuriated him further. Shaoting, I've given you too many chances, but you've truly let me down. I won't let this go this time. I will hand this over to my lawyer and let him deal with it accordingly. What the old master meant was that he would be sending Mu Fan to jail. Liang Wanjun and Yi Shaoting's faces changed instantly. If Mu Fan really went to jail for this incident, his life would be over. At the same time, at Assembly of Stars Entertainment, there were all sorts of sketches and information sprawled all over Yi Mu Fan's desk. He was working overtime to design the artists' outfits for a new show that Assembly of Stars was going to shoot. The appealing part of this contemporary drama was the various types of clothing from the olden times. They really hoped to win the Best Makeup Artist and Best Costume Design awards at the next International Film Festival. While he was working, his phone was always in silent mode. When he finally decided to take a break, he picked up his phone and took a glance. In the end, he realized he had over 10 missed calls and messages. "You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."